few months.
All right, Rupashri, thank you for that context. Stay with us, please. I'd like to request all of our reporters on the ground right now to stay with us. This is, for our audiences, this is our top story right now. We're heading into a short break. On the other side of that break, we continue to bring you updates from the Aam Aadmi Party story. Manish Sisodia has been requested to show up at the CBI headquarters in a little more than an hour and a half from now. We'll bring you updates.
The life of migrant within their own country, living not only within their own country but within their own state. They have to leave Kashmir Valley and settle in Jammu. They faced all the harsh weather conditions. They had to live in those small cloth tents for several years. In one tent, the entire family had to stay there in scorching heat. They had to cook there. They have to, the Kashmiri Pandits, they say that they have been left to fend for themselves. And this seems to be a repeat of what happened in the early 90s and late 80s when they were being targeted, when they were being killed. And today also, as the last rites of Puran Krishan Bhatt are being performed at in Jammu, he was gunned down by terrorists yesterday. The Kashmiri Pandits, every single Kashmiri Pandit who has gathered here to pay his last respect to Puran Krishan Bhatt, they say that why Kashmiri Pandits are being targeted. They are the original inhabitants of Kashmir. They are the aborigines of Kashmir. Kashmir belongs to them. Yesterday we heard a heart-wrenching soundbite of a Kashmiri lady who says that Puran Krishan Bhatt was her neighbor. He was like her brother. And she says that where should we Kashmiri Pandits go? Don't this Kashmir belong to us? Why are we being killed? So these are the heart-wrenching scenes that are being witnessed from all across Kashmir Valley, where the Kashmiri Pandits are being targeted time and again, be it the killing of Rahul Bhatt, be it the killing of school teacher Rajni Bala. Every Kashmiri Pandit, every member of the minority community, they are being targeted, they are being killed on the behest of Pakistan. But one question remains, why these innocent people, they are being killed, they are being maimed by the terrorist every single day. This person, he survived by two little children, his wife, and the pain in the eyes of his children is quite visible. They are unable to understand what tragedy has befallen the family. They are numb, they are unable to speak. While News 18, Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal reporters wanted to talk to the children, they have no idea what sort of tragedy has befallen the family, that they have lost their father. Only they have been crying, looking towards the body, mortal remains of their father. The younger son was crying, was asking father to get up, why he questioning his mother, why the father is not getting up. So this is the human tragedy which the terrorists don't understand. They work on the behest of Pakistan. They are given a gun and they carry out these selective assassinations in Kashmir Valley without knowing the impact that these type of killings have on the entire family. If you remember last time when we spoke to Rajkumar, whose wife Rajni Bala was gunned down by the terrorists, when we asked him, he said that the terrorists think that they have killed only one individual, but it is the entire family that gets killed by the terrorists. The entire family suffers for the entire life, because they remember, they miss the kith and kin who are being gunned down. And today there is large scale resentment again amongst the people. Here you can see in the cremation ground people from different walks of life, irrespective whether they are Kashmiri Pandits, whether they are Dogras, whether they are Muslims, whether they are Sikhs. All of them have gathered to show their solidarity and support for the grieving family of Puran Krishan Bhatt.
We are following the funeral procession of Puran Krishan Bhatt, a Kashmiri Pandit who lost his life in the valley. So Jammu seeing red once again. And
Welcome back. You're watching the morning news right here on CNN News 18. My name is Toya Singh. The story that we've been covering over the last half an hour, our top story for the day. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia summoned by the CBI to their headquarters at 11 a.m. in the liquor excise case. This is the first time he's going to be reporting at the headquarters. This is a case that's been under investigation for a few months now. Let's go over to my colleague Siddhant. I have three colleagues on the ground bringing us coverage. We'll go over first to Siddhant for more details on this entire story. Siddhant is, as we speak, outside the CBI office. Siddhant, if you could walk our audiences through a timeline of first the liquor excise policy itself, where we saw the Aam Aadmi Party come in, introduce a new excise policy, then rescind that excise policy, then the politics around it. If you could walk us through that timeline.
Well, yes, so this policy was launched last year, and in fact, since from that time only, BJP has been making this allegation that this policy has multiple irregularities in formulation and implementation, and they also have been saying that there is a possibility of quid pro quo, and this policy is completely a violation of statutory norms. So this is what BJP has been alleging all throughout since the implementation of this policy. Now on 22nd of July, CBI probe was ordered by a Lieutenant Governor, or for that matter recommended by Lieutenant Governor. This was done when Lieutenant Governor received a report from Chief Secretary, Vigilance report from Chief Secretary, which this report talks about a lot of irregularities, also hints at quid pro quo and involvement of Manish Sisodia, select bureaucrats and liquor baron in this entire scam. Post that, Ministry of Home Affairs ordered Central Bureau of Investigation to take the FIR, and on 17th of August, the FIR was registered by Central Bureau of Investigation.
All right. Siddhant, I'm so sorry. We do need to very quickly shift focus because the visuals you can see right now are coming from outside Manish Sisodia's residence. Remember, the Deputy Chief Minister is right now headed to the Aam Aadmi Party office. After that, he's going to make his way to the CBI offices. Anshul is reporting from outside. Let's go over to him. Anshul?
So yes, we are bringing you these visuals exclusively, and Manish Sisodia has just reached the Aam Aadmi Party office, where he is being welcomed by the workers of Aam Aadmi Party. Along with Manish Sisodia in the same car is AAP MP Sanjay Singh. They have just reached outside the Aam Aadmi Party office, where they are being by the Aam Aadmi Party supporters. Slogan Sisodia can actually be.
Okay.
Leaders of Manish Sisodia are showering flower petals on him, and we are seeing the kind of arrangements that have been made by the police over here to make sure that our traffic stays smooth. That has absolutely been taken for a toss. So yes, a big message being given out by the Aam Aadmi Party that yes, their supporters are absolutely in their favor, and all this vindictive politics that is being done against the Aam Aadmi Party, that is going to have absolutely no Gujarat election. And this is just reached here. He's going to come out from the sunroof also. The sunroof has been opened off.
Okay. We do have multiple cameras on the ground over there, which is why you're seeing the visuals lag as you are. But we'll try to bring you smooth visuals, as you can see on your screens right now. These are from outside the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. I'll allow you to hear the sloganeering for a second. Remember, the Aam Aadmi Party has said again and again that the CBI is only calling Manish Sisodia on this date because they're trying to prevent Sisodia from campaigning in Gujarat. As we've told you already, elections are set to take place later this year in the state.
The CBI intends to arrest Manish Sisodia just as the ED has arrested Satyendra Jain. Why? Because they want to stop the growth of Aam Aadmi Party. This is not about the excise policy or any of the cases, these so-called cases of corruption that have been found, because not one single piece of evidence has been found against Manish Sisodia or any leaders of Aam Aadmi Party. Yet today, Manish Sisodia has not just been summoned, Manish Sisodia is going to be arrested, and today people from all across Delhi are here in solidarity to show the Bharatiya Janata Party that people like Manish Sisodia, people like Satyendra Jain are modern Bhagat Singhs who are fighting for this country.
Today, what is the plan of action when Manish Sisodia goes to questioning from here? Are all the Aam Aadmi Party supporters going to camp in front of the CBI headquarters?
All Aam Aadmi Party leaders will be going. Manish Sisodia ji is going to Rajghat after this to pay his respects to Gandhi ji, and thereafter all volunteers will go with him, and after that all volunteers will go with him to CBI.
So when are you going to come back to the party office? Show the picture.
Everyone is
All right, there you saw snippets of an interview with the key Aam Aadmi Party administrator and leader Atishi. She was talking to my colleague Rupashri, who is present right now outside the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. We're trying to bring you interviews from the ground, as you can see, but there is high media presence, a very high density of Aam Aadmi Party workers there, of course. The Aam Aadmi Party, remember, attempting to show today as a show of strength. They're trying to show, as they've said again and again to our reporters, that these are all attempts to bring the Aam Aadmi Party down, to prevent its growth, as the party attempts to improve its branches and spread them from Delhi, as it's already spread them to Punjab, now to Gujarat. Remember, the Aam Aadmi Party is hoping to make inroads in Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh, and some also say in Karnataka. Right now, though, as you can see, visuals that we are sharing with you from outside the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters, Sisodia is slated to appear at multiple rallies in Gujarat with Arvind Kejriwal through the rest of the week. That is what Arvind Kejriwal is pointing to again and again. We're going to try to bring you reporters from the ground. My colleague Siddhant is with us. Siddhant is not present on the ground right now outside the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. He's in fact outside the CBI headquarters, which is where in just a little while from now we're going to see Sisodia head from the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters over to the CBI. Let's go over right now to Siddhant to understand more. Siddhant, you were telling us a little while ago about the politics that has played out around the liquor excise policy of the Delhi government. I believe we cut you off before we were able to understand from you what was the reason that the Delhi government gave for rescinding their excise policy when they rescinded it last year.
Well, look, most of the times we have seen that since the recommendation by Lieutenant Governor, Aam Aadmi Party always wanted to make this fight a political fight, because they also wanted to derive political mileage of the FIR that has been registered against Manish Sisodia and other select bureaucrats. Now, Aam Aadmi Party has to say that this is all being done because Aam Aadmi Party is challenging Bharatiya Janata Party in the state of Gujarat, and to stop Manish Sisodia to campaign in Gujarat, all this is being done. But the fact is that there are 2 FIRs against Manish Sisodia and other accused. In fact, their CBI investigation has several findings in which the money has also been received by the other accused and has been deposited into the accounts of Dinesh Arora, and through Samir Mahindru, Vijay Nair, some money was moved and was parked. These are the findings of ED and CBI. Today, Manish Sisodia will also be questioned regarding these transactions. At the same time, since he was the minister in charge of excise and finance, the main allegation is that all these decisions have been taken to formulate and implement new excise policy, to waive off 144 crores of the licensees, and also to slash the imported liquor rates. All these decisions were taken at ministerial level. Competent authority, the cabinet and LG's office, was not informed. This is the main allegation on Manish Sisodia. So today he is going to be questioned. Now, there's
पावर बैंक
पावर बैंक छोटा वाला बैंक में इनके वाले छोड़ सुनो 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 इनका जो छोटा वाला बैग है ना उसमें केबल और पावर बैंक है।
ये उम्मीद की है कि अगर दिल्ली के स्कूल अच्छे हो सकते हैं तो गुजरात के स्कूल भी अच्छे हो सकते हैं। गुजरात के एक एक आदमी के मन में आंदोलन जगा है कि अगर दिल्ली और पंजाब के अस्पताल अच्छे हो सकते हैं तो गुजरात के सरकारी अस्पताल भी अच्छे हो सकते हैं। आज गुजरात में आप सबकी मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई, इतनी बड़ी संख्या में आप यहाँ पे आए हैं। आज गुजरात में लोग बहुत उम्मीद से आम आदमी पार्टी को देख रहे हैं। ये लोग मुझे जेल में डालने की तैयारी इसीलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि इनको लगता है कि मैं गुजरात जाऊंगा तो लोगों के स्कूल बनने की उम्मीद और मजबूत होगी। मैं जब गुजरात गया, गुजरात के लोगों ने मुझसे यही कहा कि दिल्ली की तरह हमारे भी स्कूल बनवा देना। हम इस बार आम आदमी पार्टी को सरकार बनवाएंगे, आम आदमी पार्टी को वोट देने वाले हैं। गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी बुरी तरह से हार रही है और आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार बनने वाली है। इसीलिए बीजेपी घबरा गई है, इसीलिए बीजेपी डर गई है और इसीलिए झूठे केस मेरे ऊपर करवा के मुझको जेल में डालना चाहती है। लेकिन मैं आज आपको ये कहना चाहता हूं कि हम लोग भगत सिंह के लोग हैं, हम जेल जाने से नहीं डरते। आजादी के लिए 20-20 साल के लड़कों ने कुर्बानी दी थी। देश आज फिर कुर्बानी मांग रहा है। देश आज फिर ऐसा सीना मांग रहा है जो जेल जाने से ना डरे और हमें गर्व है कि हमको जेल जाने से नहीं डर सकता। आज इनकी तैयारी मुझको जेल में डालने की है। इन्होंने सीबीआई भेज के मेरे घर पे रेड कराई, मेरे घर से कुछ नहीं निकला, आप सब जानते हैं। इन्होंने मेरे बैंक लॉकर तलाश लिए, बैंक लॉकर में से कुछ नहीं निकला, आप सब जानते हैं। इन्होंने मेरे गांव में जाके ढूंढा कि कहीं कोई जमीन खरीद रखी होगी, परिवार में कुछ खरीद रखा होगा, कुछ नहीं निकला, सब जानते हैं। इसलिए अब इनकी तैयारी है कि मुझे जेल में डाल दें। मैं इनकी जेल में डालने से नहीं डरता, इनकी सीबीआई और ईडी से नहीं डरता। मैं जानता हूं कि देश कुर्बानी मांग रहा है और हम कुर्बानी देने के लिए तैयार हैं। आज मैं आप सबसे भी कहना चाहता हूं, इसका अफसोस मत करना। अगर मैं जेल चला जाऊं तो अफसोस मत करना, गर्व करना। हमारे लिए गर्व की बात है कि हमें देश के लिए कुर्बानी देने का अवसर आया है। हम कुर्बानी से पीछे नहीं हटेंगे। मैं यहां से अभी राजघाट जाऊंगा, पूज्य बापूजी की समाधि पर श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करूंगा। देश के लिए गांधी जी भी जेल गए थे, देश के लिए भगत सिंह ने भी फांसी खाई थी। मैं अभी यहां से जाऊंगा, अच्छा लगेगा, आप सब लोग भी चलेंगे तो सब लोग, लेकिन पूरा डिसिप्लिन बना के रखेंगे। भारत माता की इंकलाब, वंदे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आम आदमी पार्टी का एक
Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia announcing over there that he would be taking the blessings of Bapu Mahatma Gandhi before he made his way to the CBI headquarters. We're watching as the Aam Aadmi Party Deputy Chief Minister, the leader, attempts, as we've seen the entire Aam Aadmi Party do together, to turn this occasion into one of victory. They're trying to say that this is a moment for their party to stand up against the CBI. They're saying, as they have been saying for the last few weeks, that the CBI is being misused by the centre. Let's go over to my colleague Anshul right now for more details. Anshul, we heard right now from Sisodia. He said that him and the entire procession of Aam Aadmi Party leaders that are with him right now, the workers that are with him right now, they're going to be making their way first to Rajghat and then to the CBI headquarters. Walk our audiences through how the Aam Aadmi Party is hoping to play out today. Okay, we'll actually try to re-establish our connection with Anshul and, of course, with other reporters on the ground. As we've told you before, because of the density of camera people and workers on the ground, it is a little hard for us to establish a stable connection. But we'll try to bring you more details in the meanwhile about what we've heard Sisodia say. It's important to note that this is the first time that the Deputy Chief Minister is being called in for questioning. His house was raided by agencies in August after a go-ahead for investigations that they received from the Lieutenant Governor. Now, Sisodia has said yesterday that he will fully cooperate with investigators. He made the point that the CBI raided his house for 14 hours and he said that nothing came out of it. They also very publicly, I'd like to remind you, searched his bank lockers and also found nothing there. Now, we're going to go over to my colleague Rupashri right now to understand more. Rupashri, we heard yesterday Sisodia also say and also point that the CBI needed to pay more heed and the Delhi police needed to pay more heed to the cases of rape and deaths that were taking place across the capital. His claim was, you're not paying attention to the issues that matter. Tell us more.
Well, yes, but the first thing that I would like to just show you is the visuals over here from outside the Aam Aadmi Party office. You can see that Sisodia is actually leading the way. He's on a small mini truck sort of a thing. He will go from here to Rajghat, pay his respects, and then from there go to the CBI office. And over here, actually, one important point that Manish Sisodia made in his speech, and remember, this is a political speech. It really does not have anything to do with the nitty-gritties of the case, what is the truth in the case, whether it is fabricated or not. But Manish Sisodia essentially made this speech to his supporters over here that if I'm arrested, then do not regret my arrest. Be proud that I'm arrested because the country needs such sacrifices. And his entire address over here was aimed at the Gujarat voters. And remember, even today, Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann are actually in Gujarat. And Kejriwal is supposed to speak there at 1 o'clock in Mehsana district, followed by another, Jan Sabha in the Banaskantha district. So the Aam Aadmi Party clearly has tried to convert this crisis into a political opportunity. But remember, this is an attempt. We do not know whether it is really going to work or not. But Sisodia going from here appears to be extremely confident. He's accompanied by a lot of Aam Aadmi Party supporters and Aam Aadmi Party MLAs from here. All of these people will go to the CBI headquarters and then they will camp over there until the questioning is over, or until, if as the Aam Aadmi Party apprehends, there would be any any real arrest which may happen. You were talking about the letter that Manish Sisodia wrote to the Lieutenant Governor yesterday. Yes, Sisodia wrote a letter to the Lieutenant Governor yesterday, essentially telling him to pay more attention to the deteriorating law and order situation in the national capital, following yet another murder in the national capital. And it was a tongue-in-cheek sort of a letter, because Sisodia in that letter said that please pay attention to this also, because under the constitution you are responsible for maintaining the law and order situation in the capital, and Delhi police reports directly to you. So the hint at the Lieutenant Governor essentially was that instead of focusing all your energies in unearthing the many alleged scams of the Aam Aadmi Party government, ministers, MLAs, workers, do focus some attention on the law and order situation in the national capital also. Remember, we have not heard from the BJP really since morning today. It remains to be seen how BJP responds to this show linked by the Aam Aadmi Party in the hour of its crisis, really trying to capitalize on this moment and clearly aiming the entire saga that is unfolding over here at the voter in Gujarat. It remains to see how this story from here, whether CBI has any evidence or not, whether the CBI can back
All right, Rupashri, thank you for those details. Now, Rupashri, if you could also point us towards, as you have been, all right, Rupashri, you're actually going to have to wait for a second. I believe first we're going to play out for you what the Deputy Chief Minister has had to say. This is Manish Sisodia. Take a look.
इन लोगों ने आज मुझे CBI में बुलाया है। इनकी तैयारी अब मुझको गिरफ्तार करने की है। इन्होंने पहले CBI रेड कराई मेरे इस घर में। इनको उसमें कुछ नहीं मिला, एक पैसे का कोई भ्रष्टाचार नहीं मिला इनको मेरे घर में। उसके बाद इन्होंने मेरे बैंक लॉकर की जांच कराई, बैंक लॉकर छाने CBI ने, वहाँ पे इनको कुछ नहीं मिला। इनको लग रहा था वहाँ कोई प्रॉपर्टी के दस्तावेज मिलेंगे, कैश मिलेगा, गोल्ड मिलेगा, वहाँ कुछ नहीं मिला। मेरे बैंक लॉकर में कुछ नहीं मिला। इन्होंने मेरे गांव में जाके पूछताछ की कि वहाँ हो सकता है ज़मीनें खरीदी हों, खूब पूछताछ की इन्होंने, वहाँ भी कुछ नहीं मिला। इनको भी पता है कि ये पूरा केस फर्जी है। ये पूरा केस मेरे खिलाफ जो चलाया जा रहा है ये पूरा फर्जी केस है। इनका मकसद मुझे गिरफ्तार करके जेल में डालना है ताकि मैं गुजरात न जा सकूं। गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी बुरी तरह से हार रही है और इसीलिए ये डरी हुई है। इसीलिए आज ये मुझको भी गुजरात जाने से रोकना चाहती है। गुजरात में मैं पिछले दिनों जब जब गया हूँ, मैंने वहाँ के स्कूलों की हालत ख़राब देखी है, मैंने वहाँ अस्पतालों की हालत ख़राब देखी है, मैंने नौजवानों को नौकरी के लिए बिलखते हुए देखा है, मैंने वहाँ लोगों की बहुत बुरी हालत देखी है गुजरात में। और आज गुजरात में लोगों को उम्मीद है अरविंद केजरीवाल जी से। आज लोगों को हमने जाके कहा है गुजरात में कि गुजरात में आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार बनाओ, आपके भी स्कूल दिल्ली के स्कूलों की तरह अच्छे होंगे, आपके भी अस्पताल दिल्ली के अस्पतालों की तरह अच्छे होंगे, आपके यहाँ भी बिजली के बिल ज़ीरो आएंगे, आपके यहाँ भी ईमानदारी से नौकरियाँ लगेंगी और लगेंगी। तो ये आज हमने गुजरात में कहा है और गुजरात के लोगों को इस पर भरोसा है। इसीलिए बीजेपी बुरी तरह से हार रही है और ये मुझे जेल में डाल के रखना चाहते हैं। मेरे खिलाफ ना कुछ निकला ना कुछ निकलेगा और अब मुझे जेल में भी डाल देंगे तब भी। आज गुजरात का बच्चा बच्चा चुनाव लड़ रहा है, आज गुजरात का आम आदमी चुनाव लड़ रहा है। इस बार गुजरात का चुनाव गुजरात के लोग एक आंदोलन की तरह, शिक्षा के आंदोलन, स्वास्थ्य के आंदोलन, बिजली के आंदोलन की तरह लड़ रहे हैं। मुझे जेल में डालने से ये गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हार को बचा नहीं पाएंगे।
जैसे आप चुनाव में जाते हैं आज भी उसी तरीके से लग रहा था कि आपको विदा कर रहे हैं परिवार वाले, क्योंकि और भगत सिंह कहा, आपको खुद मुख्यमंत्री ने भगत सिंह कहा।
ये मेरे परिवार का प्यार है, मेरे परिवार का मेरे ऊपर आशीर्वाद है कि मैं ईमानदारी से काम करता हूँ, कट्टर ईमानदारी, कट्टर देशभक्ति से काम करता हूँ। और भगत सिंह जी के रास्ते पे चलते हुए हमने स्कूल बनाए हैं, अस्पताल बनाए हैं, ईमानदारी से काम किया है। ये गुजरात को नहीं बचा पाएंगे, गुजरात में भी अब यही काम है।
We just played out for you what the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia had to say, and one of the big words that you saw him repeating again and again was imandar, that we're doing what we are with honesty. Now, in contradiction to that, you have the BJP leader Amit Malviya, who's tweeted out, and in this tweet he's made a comparison between Sanjay Raut, who of course hails from the Shiv Sena, and Manish Sisodia. I'm going to read out for you what he's had to say. He said, there are eerie similarities between Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Raut. Both stepped out for the cameras, got greeted by their wife and mother, drove through a handful of supporters in an open roof car. The outcome may well be the same. Raut has been in jail now and forever. Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut is in judicial custody since his arrest on August 1st. That was in the alleged Patra Chaul redevelopment scam pertaining to money laundering. These are all developments that took place in Maharashtra. Over here we see Malviya making a comparison between the Maharashtra case and this Delhi case. Let's go over to Anshul for more context. Anshul, we've played out for our audiences what Amit Malviya has had to say. As a reporter who does have an understanding of both cases, is this comparison fair?
So yes, definitely Amit Malviya rightly pointed out that this is actually political messaging that is trying to give out by the Aam Aadmi Party, and that is the reason why they are seeing such a heavy crowd. If you see the visuals over here, a march in an open jeep, Manish Sisodia is out of his car trying to give a message that yes, he is not scared of this vindictive politics of the BJP. He's ready to sacrifice for the country. He has gone onto the line saying people like Bhagat Singh, Mahatma Gandhi had to sacrifice for the country, and now the country is demanding sacrifice, and he is not going to back down. And this is the kind of messaging that is being trying to give. All this is definitely being done just to make sure that the right messages are given out in the upcoming Gujarat and Himachal polls. If you could see the visuals over here, he's meeting and greeting each and every worker. It seems like he has won a war over some enemy, and he's been celebrated. Although he's been today going to the CBI as an accused in this entire matter. But yes, the message that the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to give, that they are still a Kattar Imandar party and they are not scared of this vindictive politics that is being done by the BJP. So you can see hundreds and hundreds of workers of the Aam Aadmi Party with the posters of Mabi Bhagat Singh in their hands. Manish Sisodia waving to the crowd, acknowledging each and every
All right,
person.
but going into a short break, I'd like to request all of my reporters on the ground, Anshul, Siddhant, Arunima, Rupashri, all of them to stay with us. We're bringing you wall-to-wall coverage. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia summoned today for the first time to the CBI headquarters. We'll see you in a few minutes after this short break.
Movies, it was being highlighted by the centre, but the promise by that centre has been unresolved, it has been unfulfilled with this continued killing of the Pandits in the valley.
Yes, these are the exact questions which the Kashmiri Pandit community has been asking. They are saying that they are the one who are the flag bearers of the country, but still they feel that somewhere the country has abandoned them. They are being killed, they are being targeted, and some of them, they are saying that this seems to be a repeat of what happened in the early 90s and in the late 80s when Kashmiri Pandits, they were hounded out of their houses, they were forced to migrate within their own country. This is ironic that around 5 to 6 lakh Kashmiri Pandits, they had to live the life of migrants within their own country, living not only within their own country but within their own state. They have to leave Kashmir Valley and settle in Jammu. They faced all the harsh weather conditions. They had to live in those small cloth tents for several years. In one tent, the entire family had to stay there in scorching heat. They had to cook there. They have to, the Kashmiri Pandits, they say that they have been left to fend for themselves, and this seems to be a repeat of what happened in the early 90s and late 80s when they were being targeted, when they were being killed. And today also, as the last rites of Puran Krishan Bhatt are being performed at in Jammu, he was gunned down by terrorists yesterday. The Kashmiri Pandits, every single Kashmiri Pandit who has gathered here to pay his last respect to Puran Krishan Bhatt, they say that why Kashmiri Pandits are being targeted. They are the original inhabitants of Kashmir. They are the aborigines of Kashmir. Kashmir belongs to them. Yesterday we heard a heart-wrenching soundbite of a Kashmiri lady who says that Puran Krishan Bhatt was her neighbor. He was like her brother. And she says that where should we Kashmiri Pandits go? Don't this Kashmir belong to us? Why are we being killed? So these are the heart-wrenching scenes that are being witnessed from all across Kashmir Valley, where the Kashmiri Pandits are being targeted time and again, be it the killing of Rahul Bhatt, be it the killing of school teacher Rajni Bala. Every Kashmiri Pandit, every member of the minority community, they are being targeted, they are being killed on the behest of Pakistan. But one question remains, why these innocent people, they are being killed, they are being maimed by the terrorist every single day. This person, he survived by 2 little children, his wife, and the pain in the eyes of his children is quite visible. They are unable to understand what tragedy has befallen the family. They are numb, they are unable to speak. While News18, Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal reporters wanted to talk to the children, they have no idea what sort of tragedy has befallen the family, that they have lost their father. Only they have been crying, looking towards the body, mortal remains of their father. The younger son was crying, was asking father to get up. Why he questioning his mother, why the father is not getting up. So this is the human tragedy which the terrorists don't understand. They work on the behest of Pakistan. They are given a gun and they carry out these selective assassinations in Kashmir Valley without knowing the impact that these type of killings have on the entire family. If you remember last time when we spoke to Rajkumar, whose wife Rajni Bala was gunned down by the terrorists. When we asked him, he said that the terrorists think that they have killed only one individual, but it is the entire family that gets killed by the terrorists. The entire family suffers.
Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia is today going to be arriving at the CBI in just a little while from now. And with that arrival, the Aam Aadmi Party's netas are in a huddle. Top leaders like Saurabh Bhardwaj, Durgesh Pathak and Gopal Rai are already at Sisodia's residence as we speak. Remember, Sisodia has been called by the CBI. Today, we'll be telling you more about why he's been called, but largely, this is over a more than 2-month investigation into the Delhi government's liquor excise policy, introduced and then rescinded by the government shortly after. There was controversy after it. Now, you might know that the ED led raids at both Sisodia's residence and a number of other locations. As of now, they're currently investigating more. Good morning. You're watching breaking news here at CNN News 18. My name is Tuveya Singh. We're right now bringing you wall-to-wall coverage of the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia as he makes his way to the CBI offices. He's been summoned there for the first time in the case of alleged irregularities in the liquor excise policy introduced by the Delhi government. Now, my colleague Arunima is with us. She's with us live this morning and we're starting the day with her from outside the CBI headquarters. Right before I go over to her though, the visuals on your screen of the Deputy Chief Minister leading a procession of Aam Aadmi Party workers. They're first headed to Rajghat, where they're going to be paying respects to Mahatma Gandhi. After that, they're going to be making their way to the CBI headquarters. Let's go over right now to Arunima for more context. Arunima, we're starting the day with you. If you could lay out for our audiences some of the details of this case, some of the key points when it comes to the CBI. When they say they have a firm case on their hands, what are they pointing to?
Well, I will tell you about the Central Bureau of Investigation's case and the questions they have for Mr. Sisodia. But before that, just want to show you, if Mr. Sisodia and the Aam Aadmi Party are planning to make a grand show, what is the scene like outside the Central Bureau of Investigation? Behind me is the road from the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, which leads you to CBI. There's a word in Hindi called Chhavni, which in English would mean a barrack. This is what this entire area resembles like. Only a single lane has been led for vehicular movement. This is the area of the CGO complex. The central government offices are in this area. All government servants are coming to work this morning, but they have to, tackle this huge police deployment. There's Delhi police here. This green bus has been used to completely block the entrance to the main lane which leads to CBI. You can see paramilitary force personnel as well as Delhi police personnel standing guard. This is the road. There are 2 layers of barricading which have been done. Pansalji, if you can show on the right, there are more barricades being pulled out so that even that stretch which is open is shut. And that glass building on the other side is the Central Bureau of Investigation. So before Mr. Sisodia reaches here, his workers might find it very difficult to travel through this area if that's the plan. Even that road, the other road which could have brought them here, only one lane has been left open. The other one has been blocked using a vehicle which is used to remove illegally parked vehicles. Now, as far as the case is concerned, let me tell you about the case that Central Bureau of Investigation has. They are alleging there is loss to exchequer caused by the excise policy, and since the concerned minister was Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, he's the one liable for causing this loss. That's the charge. What is the basis of that charge? Preliminary evidence that they picked up, then they carried out searches and at least 2 arrests were made by CBI, 1 by Enforcement Directorate. Officials tell me that during the course of questioning, fresh evidence has come up to support their charge. Today when Mr. Sisodia comes here to the headquarters, he will be confronted with those papers that they have collected, with the revelations that have been made by Mr. Vijay Nair and Mr. Abhishek Banupalli, the 2 people in custody. Enforcement Directorate's evidence collected after arrest of Mr. Mahindru will also be present on the table. So Mr. Sisodia will be asked about how the excise policy decision was taken, the anomalies that CBI suspects. His answers will be sought on that. Expect this to be a long-drawn questioning today.
Arunima, stay with us. Now let's check in with the procession itself. My colleague Anshul following this grand procession as it makes its way towards Rajghat. Let's go over to him right now. Anshul, good morning. If we could check in with you, if you just look around, what is the numbers? What is that show of strength? Are we looking at thousands of people perhaps who've come out today in support of the Deputy Chief Minister?
So yes, this is one of the most infamous chalks in the national capital that is absolutely infamous for the kind of traffic snarls that happen here. This is the ITO chalk, and if you could see in the visuals over here, hundreds and hundreds of workers of the Aam Aadmi Party are currently taking out this massive bike rally in which Manish Sisodia is currently leading this. He is being followed by the likes of Saurabh Bhardwaj and other senior AAP MLAs as well. Sanjay Singh is also in this cavalcade. They are giving this very strong message that the entire workforce of the Aam Aadmi Party is currently standing with their leader Manish Sisodia. And as you can see in these visuals over here, hundreds and hundreds of bikers are currently taking out this rally towards Rajghat, where they will be paying their respects to Mahatma Gandhi. And from there, this rally will then continue to the CBI headquarters, where Arunima is stationed right now. We saw the kind of arrangements that have been made over there, and definitely it seems that those arrangements could be not up to the mark, because the amount of people that have gathered over here is absolutely shocking. As you see, hundreds and hundreds of bikes are currently in this entire cavalcade, and in each bike 2 to 3 people are sitting. So yes, it seems like the Aam Aadmi Party has been able to gather that momentum over here, especially in the national capital, where they have managed to gather the entire cadre on the ground, giving out this message that each and every worker of the Aam Aadmi Party is standing strong with their leader Manish Sisodia. So yes, we are currently at the ITO, and from here approximately a kilometer away from here is the Rajghat, where the final destination of this entire rally could be, and from there they could actually go to the CBI headquarters. So these are the visuals we are bringing to you as of now, live on CNN News 18. If you could see, hundreds and hundreds of workers are currently going with Manish Sisodia to Rajghat, and there is a traffic snarl that could be seen over here in this entire area. So yes, in the next few minutes, they are going to reach Rajghat, and we might get some more visuals from Rajghat to our viewers as well, Toya.
Okay, Anshul, stay with us. Let's go back now to my colleague Arunima, who's with us from outside the CBI offices. Arunima, I want to take to you an obvious question now, one that our audiences are probably wondering. Yesterday, we heard the Aam Aadmi Party say that Manish Sisodia was going to be arrested. Now, I know it's hard to speculate, but what are the chances of that actually happening, and what is the procedure the CBI usually follows? How strong, for example, does a case need to be before they decide to make an arrest?
See, Central Bureau of Investigation and its investigating officer is well within his right to say that the person who is being subjected to questioning is not cooperating, not giving correct answers, and therefore custodial interrogation is required. Usually when they arrest somebody and they produce the person in court in the remand application, they give out details about why custodial interrogation is necessary. It is based on those details that the court decides whether the person should be sent to their custody or sent to JC. So they are well within their rights to do that. Will that happen today? Well, Aam Aadmi Party has been saying since the time searches happened that they are going to arrest Mr. Sisodia before the Gujarat elections. CBI, however, says that they are not here to play politics. They are looking at evidence per se, and Mr. Sisodia has been summoned to answer some of those questions. Just because he is a Deputy Chief Minister doesn't mean he can escape the rule of law. So he will be confronted, like I said, with the paperwork. This is a case which will be proved on paper because the paper trail has to be completed. The charge is that money actually was paid off, and the money trail the CBI will have to prove reaches Mr. Sisodia or people close to him. His link to cause loss to that exchequer will have to be proved. But, you know, like Anshul was telling us, that there are bikers following Mr. Sisodia. You know, if you see the checking that is happening here, now, I mean, mostly bikes are being stopped, but just a couple of minutes ago, even now, whatever vehicles are coming in, their iCards are being checked. Those who don't have proper identification are being turned back from here. And bikers specifically, each bike that is coming in, it has to have a tag. The rider of the bike also is being frisked and checked for the identity cards that they are carrying. You can see there, each vehicle which is not labelled, the driver is being asked, what is your identity, why are you coming here? So that is the kind of bandobast that is being done to tackle the Aam Aadmi Party karyakartas who, like Anshul was telling us, have been tailing Mr. Sisodia, and many bikers could perhaps come here as well. So while inside the headquarters there are preparations to question Mr. Sisodia, to ask him that on that charge about causing loss to the exchequer, outside the Delhi police and the paramilitary forces are trying to ensure that no law and order incident happens here.
Arunima, stay with us. For our audiences, Siddhant is also present outside the CBI headquarters. Siddhant, we know the Aam Aadmi Party has been claiming again and again that these are all attempts to distract from their efforts to make a footprint in Gujarat, a state that's set to see assembly elections in just a few months from now. Now, we know that Arvind Kejriwal and other Aam Aadmi Party leaders were set to campaign in Gujarat today and in the next few days. I want to ask you, do we have any estimation of how long today's questioning process might take, or will we only come to know later in the day if Sisodia will be required to come tomorrow and perhaps the day after?
Well, trust me, there are a series of questions for Manish Sisodia, and as I have mentioned before also, it's been 2 months of thorough investigation by Central Bureau of Investigation, and they have their own findings. Their findings are based on LG's recommendation. Now, LG's report is also with them. So all those questions are going to be asked to Manish Sisodia. But what is interesting here is that since day one, Aam Aadmi Party has made it a political fight. And today also, while addressing media outside outside his residence, even at Aam Aadmi Party headquarters, Manish Sisodia in each and every line mentions Gujarat. He says that this is all being done because Aam Aadmi Party is campaigning in Gujarat. This is all being done because Aam Aadmi Party has built schools. This is all being done because Aam Aadmi Party is challenging Bharatiya Janata Party. So this is all Manish Sisodia and Aam Aadmi Party has been saying all throughout. And even today also, they want to give out this message that this is nothing but a political battle. And in fact, the speech that Manish Sisodia has delivered outside AAP headquarters, कि आज अगर मैं जेल चला जाऊं तो आप ये समझिएगा कि मैंने कुर्बानी दी है. इसको आम आदमी पार्टी कुर्बानी इससे जोड़ के इसकी एक मैसेज देना चाह रही है. एंड दिस इज व्हाट मनीष सिसोदिया and आम आदमी पार्टी wants, that they are sacrificing their leader for the development of Gujarat, for the development of the country, for the good works that they have done. And from day one, this has been their strategy, that this should not look like a corruption issue, because this party calls themselves Kattar Imandar. So this should not become a corruption issue. This should not reflect in a bad light. It should be, they are trying to make it a political battle, and they have successfully made it also. And you know, the messaging is that because they are campaigning in Gujarat, because they speak against Bharatiya Janata Party, because they are doing good works in Delhi, they are giving free electricity, free water, giving good infrastructure in schools. So this is all being done. So this has been a very clear strategy of Aam Aadmi Party. And today also, you know, the people tailing Manish Sisodia, crowd gathered in large numbers in support of Manish Sisodia. This is all being done as per the strategy decided by Aam Aadmi Party, so that it should not reflect badly on their reputation of anti-corruption crusader, and it should reflect that this is nothing but a political battle which is going on with Bharatiya Janata Party.
Siddhant, thank you for those details. I want to go over now to our colleague Arunima, who's also present on the ground outside the CBI headquarters. Arunima, our audiences might already know the FIR in this case was lodged in August. It listed 15 people. 3 arrests have taken place so far. If you could lay out for our audiences, are there areas in the CBI questioning where the Aam Aadmi Party might face difficulty? What are the tricky areas possibly for the Aam Aadmi Party when it comes to this case?
So what is the charge against the Aam Aadmi Party, and more specifically against those who have been named in the FIR? The charge is that when the new excise policy was announced and the decision was taken to open or give licenses for new liquor vends in areas which were earlier not permitted, these new licenses were given in return for money. In return for money to the incumbent here. The charge is against Mr. Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister. But the Bharatiya Janata Party, the principal opposition in Delhi, has also alleged that this was the money that was routed for the Punjab polls, which Aam Aadmi Party won confidently. So that is the charge. And the Aam Aadmi Party will have to prove that these liquor vends, the licenses that were allotted after proper scrutiny. So what was the scrutiny that was done? That he will have to emphasize on. Aam Aadmi Party has come back and said that if a loss to Exchequer was caused, it was caused because the LG deferred on that decision. There was a last minute back and forth between the LG and the Delhi government, and that led to problems as well. So if there is any communication with the LG regarding that which they can use to bolster that argument, That paperwork will have to be brought on record. Also, what the Aam Aadmi Party, including the Chief Minister of Delhi, has said as far as the arrest of Mr. Nair is concerned, is that he just handled social media. CBI insists that he was actually present in meetings, physically present in some of the meetings where decisions regarding excise policy were taken. So if they have proof of that, if Mr. Nair has confessed to that, then Mr. Sisodia will have to explain that as well, that why was somebody who's not a government official, who's a party functionary, present in such a meeting. They have also charged, FIR of the CBI makes an allegation that money actually changed hands from people who benefited from the excise policy to close aides of Mr. Sisodia. So that money trail, if the CBI manages to complete and prove that yes, Mr. Sisodia's close aides were paid and they were the ones who benefited from the grant of licenses, why was this money paid is again a tough question for Mr. Sisodia to explain.
Okay, Arunima, thank you for those details. Stay with us. For our audiences, remember, Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia on his way first to Rajghat, which remember is a memorial dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi right here in Delhi. He's there right now, as you can see on your screens. After this, only is he going to make his way to the CBI headquarters. Let's check in with my colleague Anshul, who's been following the procession. Anshul, explain to our audiences, why the choice of going to Rajghat first?
So yes, definitely the entire thing has been happening since the entire controversy broke out. The Aam Aadmi Party has been trying to give out a political twist to this entire thing. On one hand, where the CBI, Central Investigating Agencies, have registered a case against the leader of the Aam Aadmi Party for discrepancies in a policy that was passed by the Delhi cabinet. Even after that, the Aam Aadmi Party has made sure that they leave no stone unturned in turning this entire controversy political. Now we are on the verge of Gujarat elections, so it becomes even more important for the Aam Aadmi Party to make sure that the right noises are made, the right sounds are made, and the right messages are given, especially to the people of Gujarat, that the entire controversy has been brewed up to make sure that the Aam Aadmi Party doesn't win any of the seats in Gujarat or even go ahead and form the government. And that is the reason why we are seeing not only Manish Sisodia but other senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party from the likes of Saurabh Bhardwaj and other leaders, Atishi Marlina, have all come over here at Rajghat. They are paying the tributes to Mahatma Gandhi, and from here the plan of action for the Aam Aadmi Party is they are going to carry out with this bike protest from Rajghat to CBI headquarters, which is another 5 to 7 kilometers from this location. So yes, another show of strength by the Aam Aadmi Party. They are trying to give out this message that they are not scared of the vindictive politics of the BJP. However, on the other hand, we have seen the leaders of the BJP coming to the fore and saying that this entire political controversy is being made political just to gain mileage in Gujarat, but that is very, very unlikely going to happen. And the Aam Aadmi Party is also trying to make sure that the image of a Kattar Imandar party is not hampered in any way or any manner, because many leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party have now been arrested by Central Investigating Agencies, be it Satyendra Jain, who has been inside the jails by the Enforcement Director for the past 4 months. Today, at afternoon, yesterday, we broke this story at around 12 noon that Manish Sisodia will be questioned by the CBI, and 12:45 was the first press conference that was carried out by the Aam Aadmi Party, and the first message that they gave that Manish Sisodia will be arrested today, and all this is being done to hamper the chances of Manish Sisodia in the upcoming Gujarat polls. So yes, this is the kind of messaging that the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to give, and that is the reason why we are seeing this show of strength that is happening here on the streets of national capital, in front of the eyes of the media, in front of media cameras, where hundreds and hundreds of workers of the Aam Aadmi Party from each nook and corner of the national capital have come out here just to give their support to Manish Sisodia, and from here they will continue their march towards the CBI headquarters, and it is going to be an absolutely security nightmare for the Delhi police and paramilitary forces to make sure that the law and order situation stays in control. The amount of security people that have been deployed on the roads of the national capital is absolutely shocking, and even after that, it seems like the number of crowd that has managed to gather over here is absolutely outnumbered them. So yes, the announcements that are being made right now, if you could hear in this microphone, that CBI, the entire cavalcade of Manish Sisodia along with leaders like Atishi will be going to the CBI house along with the bike march that is going to be carried out. So yes, a big security nightmare for the security forces, because remember, this is Lutyens Delhi in which we are standing, and one of the mostly highly secured areas in the national capital. Also, this being the peak hour, many people are going to also face many issues because of this massive protest, that rally support show of strength that is being carried out by the Aam Aadmi Party. It seems like the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to give out a message that they have won a victory. Instead, Manish Sisodia going to the CBI as an accused in a scam done by the Delhi government. So yes, this is the message that they are trying to give out, just trying to make sure that the message of Kattar Imandar Party is not hampered, the image of Kattar Imandar Party is not shattered at any point, and hence this could actually be seen as a PR stunt that is being done by the Aam Aadmi Party, and absolutely they are being very successful in this entire scene. If you could see the amount of workers that they have managed to gather, all in front of media's eyes, hundreds of media cameras are out here. They are all covering on this, and this is the kind of message, this is the kind of successful message that they wanted to give out, and they are hoping that this could actually translate into votes in the upcoming Gujarat election, which could be announced in the next few days, and the elections could be conducted in the next few months, maybe. Toya.
Anshul, you've been present on the ground since the early hours of the morning today. What have your conversations with some of the Aam Aadmi Party's workers looked like?
I'll just try and get in a word from a few of the supporters over here. Sir, आप लोग मनीष सिसोदिया जी के साथ आए हैं, सीबीआई से पूछताछ के लिए जा रहे हैं, अपना पक्ष रखने जा रहे हैं, तो इतना शोर शराबा और इतना हंगामा किस बात का?
हंगामा नहीं है ये हमारी अपनी चॉइस है।
क्या लगता है क्यों बुलाया गया मनीष जी को?
ओहो, वो तो जो बुलाया वो तो गवर्नमेंट जो कर रही है वो गलत कर रही है। कोई बड़ी बात है?
क्यों लगता है आपको गलत कर रही है?
बिल्कुल गलत कर रही है।
आप लोग बात करेंगे सर, क्यों लगता है इन्होंने कहा गवर्नमेंट गलत कर रही है, ऐसा क्यों लगता है कि सरकार गलत कर रही है? एक केस में अक्यूज है, वो उनका नाम है, तो उनको पूछताछ के लिए बुलाया गया, अपना पक्ष रखने के लिए बुलाया गया, तो ये किस बात की इतनी मैसेजिंग?
एक बात सबसे पहले तो ये बता दूं, मनीष सिसोदिया जी एक सच्चे और ईमानदार नेता हैं। अगर इनको बीजेपी को ये लग रहा है कि गुजरात से हमारी जमीन खिसक रही है, इसलिए हमारे पे वार किया जा रहा है, और कोई वजह नहीं है कि हमें घेरा जा रहा है। हमारी पार्टी एक विस्तार बढ़ता जा रहा है, और उसको रोकने के लिए ये सारी बीजेपी की चल रही है सेंटर से। कभी ईडी भेजते, कभी आप कितनी भी ईडी भेज दो, सब कुछ भेज दो, मैं कहता हूँ, मगर कुछ नहीं निकला है, ना निकलेगा।
So yes, as you heard, the messaging from the top to the bottom is still absolutely the same. Each and every person who has gathered out here in support of Manish Sisodia, each and every worker who has gathered in support of Manish Sisodia have the same thing to say, be it the MLAs, MPs of the Aam Aadmi Party, or be it the supporters of Aam Aadmi Party. They all have the same script to follow out here. They are all saying that all this is being done because of the Gujarat elections, and they are also very confident that Manish Sisodia will be arrested today so that he could not go ahead and campaign in the upcoming Gujarat elections. So yes, this is the kind of messaging that has been transported amongst the workers of the Aam Aadmi Party, workers on the ground as well, be it the leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party, be it the workers of the Aam Aadmi Party. They are all speaking in the same tone today, that yes, the entire controversy is being brewed up just to make sure that the kind of ground that Aam Aadmi Party has been able to gain in Gujarat, that loses.
Right, the amount of loyalty and faithfulness, there's a lot of faith that we're seeing a lot of the workers on the ground have in their leader. If you could, Anshul, just point us to the different points of the CBI's investigation. We know in August, I think they raided Sisodia's house. We also know there was that very visual, very highly televised visit to the bank locker that Sisodia made with police officials. Walk us through the timeline of the investigation itself as we've seen it play out in the media over the last few months.
So yes, on the 17th of August was the day when initially the first FIR was launched after the Delhi Lieutenant Governor actually told the CBI to register a case in this entire matter. And since then, on the 19th of August, if I'm not wrong, was the day when the first raids happened. That took the entire Aam Aadmi Party by surprise, and we did not see the kind of the kind of workers that have gathered over here, the amount of momentum that they wanted to get, the amount of mileage they wanted to get out of that, they weren't able to get that. After that, they got a notice from the CBI to search the bank lockers, and that gave Aam Aadmi Party the adequate amount of time, and they made sure that the entire searching of the locker is being done in front of the eyes of the media and along with the supporters of Manish Sisodia. Today also the news came yesterday that Manish Sisodia will be going to CBI for questioning, and that also gave Aam Aadmi Party the room that also gave the Aam Aadmi Party the room to actually carry out with this sort of protest. So yes, all this has happened. Aam Aadmi Party is making sure that they leave no stone unturned in making all the right noises, Toya.
Anshul, thank you for those details. My colleague Anshul on the ground outside Rajghat, which is where the Deputy Chief Minister is present as we speak. Remember, he's been called in today for the first time by the CBI to their headquarters for questioning in the case of alleged irregularities in the Delhi government's liquor excise policy that they introduced last year. More details will follow, but we'll see you in just a few minutes on the other side of this break. Now my colleague Anshul is with us to bring us coverage on this story. Anshul, good morning. We're starting the day with you on this story. For our audiences, if you could give us context, because we are starting with you. First, give us 2 lines on what this case is, and then if you could tell us about this most recent development that I believe a number of top Aam Aadmi Party leaders have arrived at Sisodia's residence for a huddle.
So yes, if you talk about the background of this entire case is about the new liquor policy that was implemented in the national capital from November last year, and it is being alleged in this entire FIR that has been filed by the CBI that there was quid pro quo and there was discrepancies in the distribution of licenses in this entire case, and that is the reason why we have seen central investigating agencies like the CBI and ED have come to the fray. Now remember, on the 17th of August was the time when the Delhi Lieutenant Governor, through his message through his secretary that he announced that there should be investigation that should be led by the CBI, and on that request the CBI came out and registered the FIR in this entire matter. And yesterday it was at around 12 PM was the time when Manish Sisodia was finally summoned by the CBI to join in the investigation and present his side of the story in the entire matter and present his agenda about the entire allegations that are being placed against him. Currently, I am standing outside Manish Sisodia's residence. If I could just ask my camera person Pramod Saklani to show you in the visuals over here, the amount of police force and paramilitary force that have been deployed over here is absolutely abnormal. This amount of paramilitary forces were not even deployed when the CBI raided the residence of Manish Sisodia for 14 hours. The amount of paramilitary forces and security forces were not deployed at that point also. But today we are seeing a heavy change in stance of the Delhi police. They are making sure that no one is allowed to get through these barricades. Although senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party have already started arriving over here since morning, the leaders in the likes of Saurabh Bhardwaj, Durgesh Pathak, and just a few minutes ago Sanjay Singh also arrived over here. Some other leaders are also arriving over here. If you could see in the visuals over here, the basic plan of action that the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to make over here, they're trying to project them as the victim, and they are claiming that all this is being done, the entire thing is being done so that the mileage that the Aam Aadmi Party has been getting in the upcoming Gujarat elections, that could be stopped. And especially they are claiming that Manish Sisodia has been a really favourable leader, and that is the reason why the BJP wants to stop him from campaigning in Gujarat, and that is the reason why they are going to arrest him as early as today. But yes, all these are allegations, and it is very, very premature to comment that if Manish Sisodia would be arrested by the CBI, because this is the first day of the investigations that are happening today, the first day of interrogation that is going to happen today. So yes, in the next few hours, the Manish Sisodia along with senior Aam Aadmi Party leaders would march from here, in fact we go from here to the CBI office, which is approximately 4 to 5 kilometers from here. And the plan of action that the Aam Aadmi Party has is that they want to make sure that they make the right noises, and they are going to carry out protests. And so that through these protests, no untoward situation arises over here. We are seeing this heavy deployment of paramilitary forces on the ground. So yes, in the next few minutes, it is very likely that Manish Sisodia would leave from his residence along with senior AAP leaders and would head to the CBI office. And also a bike rally could be carried out somewhere during the day as well. So yes, the Aam Aadmi Party trying to give out a message that all this is.
Welcome back. You're watching Breaking News here at CNN News 18. My name is Toya Singh. As we are speaking right now, we're following the procession of Aam Aadmi Party leaders led very much by Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. You can see him on the right side of your screens. They were at Rajghat, and as we speak, they are making their way to the CBI headquarters. My colleague Arunima is on the ground with us at the CBI headquarters to bring us context on this entire story. Arunima, we can share with our audiences that so far in this case, there have been 3 arrests. Could you walk our audiences through who the 3 arrests have been and what allegations the CBI is making against them?
So the first arrest was made that of Vijay Nair. He was ex-CEO of an event management company and subsequently he joined the Aam Aadmi Party. Now if you go by Arvind Kejriwal's words, he is the man responsible for handling social media account of the Aam Aadmi Party. He reportedly played a very crucial role in helping Aam Aadmi Party come to power in Punjab. And as for Mr. Kejriwal, he was helping Aam Aadmi Party gain traction on social media in the run-up to the Gujarat elections as well. But if you hear the CBI version, they say that Mr. Nair was very much a party to the excise policy decisions that have been taken. He was physically present when some of the meetings took place with businessmen who ultimately allegedly benefited from the grant of licenses, and that is why he was taken into custody first. The second person arrested is from Andhra Pradesh. He is a Hyderabad-based businessman who is believed to be close to the TRS. Now, if you recall the political allegations, charges and counter charges that were levelled by the BJP, it was not just Aam Aadmi Party but also the TRS. It's former legislator here, K. Kavita, who was the target of charges being made by BJP. This person, Abhishek Bonapalli, who's been arrested, is believed to be close to the TRS family. The charge is that it was this businessman who was helping liquor operators from down south, from Andhra, from Telangana, benefit from the excise policy that Delhi was bringing in. So he was the second arrest by the CBI. A third arrest of Mr. Mahendru was made by the Enforcement Directorate, a businessman who has interest in the liquor business. He was taken into custody as well. If you see the FIR filed by the CBI, the charge is that crores of rupees were routed to close aides of Mr. Manish Sisodia, and some of these people who are arrested are accused of being beneficiary of that money that exchanged hand, and in return for this payment, people businessmen were given liquor licenses. So this was an act of quid pro quo is what CBI has alleged, saying that this caused a loss to the exchequer, or the intent was to cause a loss to the exchequer. These are the details. The Q&A that has happened between the people arrested so far and the investigating officer of the CBI, and as well as the papers that the agency has collected. That is what Mr. Sisodia will be confronted with, and he'll be asked to explain the discrepancies in the excise policy.
Arunima, if I could ask you before we go over to our other reporters, we know that the Aam Aadmi Party has repeatedly claimed over the last 2 or 3 months that the CBI is being misused. It's a central agency that is being misused by the BJP. Their entire allegation is that these claims are false. For our audiences who are looking at this case and wondering which side to believe and who to trust, how would you suggest we guide ourselves? What should we be tracking?
See, the charge was made against the CBI because this was initially flagged off by the Bharatiya Janata Party. It was the BJP which made these charges when the new LG took over. The Aam Aadmi Party said that the new LG is also acting as a Bharatiya Janata Party Karyakarta. He's speaking the same language. But the CBI took its time and it registered in FIR, carried out searches. Even then, when the searches were carried out, Aam Aadmi Party said that Mr. Sisodia is going to be arrested. That didn't happen. And when I asked top CBI officials whether they have a watertight case against Mr. Sisodia, they refrained from commenting at least 2 months back when this probe began. They said, give us our time. We have reasons to believe that there has been loss to the exchequer, but till we have enough evidence, we will not move to take anybody into custody. From then on to now, when he has been summoned for questioning, looks like CBI has managed to put together some evidence which proves their case, which makes them confident that they will be able to ask some specific questions to Mr. Sisodia. They continue to say that people who have been taken into custody have been taken into custody because they were not cooperating with investigation, and there were reasons to believe that they were party to this alleged corruption that happened. So even though we'll have to wait and see what finally the CBI finds against Mr. Sisodia, whether there is an arrest that is carried out, if an arrest is carried out, whether a charge sheet is filed or not, whether the court takes cognizance of that charge sheet, all of that will come at a later date. But at this stage, CBI is confident that it has enough to confront Mr. Sisodia with the allegation that he was party to that decision taken as far as grant of liquor licenses are concerned, a decision which perhaps caused a loss to the exchequer of Delhi government.
Okay, Arunima, thank you. Stay with us, please. Let's go over now to my colleague Anshul. On one side, we just spoke to Arunima, who was outside the CBI headquarters. But the visuals we're showing you in the center of your screens right now are of the procession led by the Deputy Chief Minister. He just visited Rajghat, obviously a memorial dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi. The Aam Aadmi Party, remember, is again and again saying that the Deputy Chief Minister and all of their workers are honest. That's why perhaps the visit to Bapu's memorial. Now, as we speak, they are headed to the CBI headquarters. My colleague Anshul follows this procession, hundreds of workers on the ground. Anshul, you've been speaking to workers off and on, and what we've seen and again is a lot of faith in Manish Sisodia's track record. Tell us more.
So yes, the message has been clear from the Aam Aadmi Party since yesterday that the entire thing is being brewed up out of proportion just to make sure that the headway that Aam Aadmi Party has been able to gather in Gujarat, especially in North Gujarat, that should be blunted at the earliest. And that is the reason why we are seeing that this messaging is being done by the Aam Aadmi Party. Currently, I am standing at Rajghat, where in the next few minutes, if you could see in the visuals behind me, the workers have already gathered over here. The cavalcade of Manish Sisodia will be leaving from Rajghat to the CBI headquarters, which is approximately 7 kilometers from here. It is going to take them approximately 20 to 25 minutes to reach the CBI headquarters because of the speed at which this cavalcade is going to move. The people are walking along with the car of Manish Sisodia. People are on their bikes also with Manish Sisodia. So yes, it is going to take a long time for them to reach 7 kilometers, and that is what the Aam Aadmi Party wants. They want the exact mileage from this entire controversy. They are just trying to prove this point that the BJP is actually scared of them, and that is the reason why they are being attacked day in and day out. Many of their ministers are being taken into custody on charges of corruption, and that is the reason why we are seeing that the Aam Aadmi Party in this manner has come out with hundreds and thousands of their supporters hitting the ground from day one.
इस तरह से बापू के खिलाफ उस वक्त की सरकार ने तरह तरह के फर्जी मुकदमे लगा के बार-बार उनको जेल भेजा। मैं आज पहली बार अपने आप में वो गर्व महसूस कर रहा हूँ। जिस तरह से हमारे देश के शहीदों ने, हमारे देश को आज़ाद कराने वाले लोगों ने देश की जनता के लिए लड़ाई लड़ी और वो जेल में गए। जिस तरह से बापू को षड्यंत्र में फंसा के अंग्रेजों की सरकार ने झूठे मुकदमे कर करके जेल में भेजा। आज मेरे ऊपर भी एक फर्जी मुकदमा करके मुझे जेल भेजने की तैयारी की जा रही है, सिर्फ इसलिए क्योंकि आज गुजरात की जनता अपने लिए स्कूल मांग रही है, अपने लिए अस्पताल मांग रही है। आज गुजरात की जनता सवाल उठा भाजपा को 27 साल में उन्होंने कुछ नहीं किया और 5 साल में अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने दिल्ली में करके दिखा दिया। तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को गुजरात की जनता मौका देख के देखना चाहती है। आज गुजरात में भाजपा बुरी तरह से हार रही है, इसलिए घबरा के मेरे ऊपर फर्जी मुकदमे करा के जेल भेज रहे हैं। आज तो मुझे गर्व है कि मैं इस काम आ सकूं कि देश के लिए कोई कुर्बानी दे सकूं। मैं सच के रास्ते पे चल रहा हूं, मैंने कहीं कुछ गड़बड़ नहीं किया। इन्होंने पूरा मेरा घर छान मारा, मेरे बैंक लॉकर छान मारे, मेरे गांव में छान मारा, इन्होंने मेरे आसपास सब छान मारा। इनको मेरे भ्रष्टाचार का कोई सबूत नहीं मिला। अब ये मुझे जेल भेजने के लिए तैयारी कर रहे हैं, तो मैं जेल जाने के लिए भी तैयार हूं। मुझे डर नहीं है, बल्कि मुझे गर्व है इस बात पे कि देश के लिए कुछ कर दिखाने का मौका है। लोग वर्षों इंतजार करते हैं, जन्मों इंतजार करते हैं, तब कुछ करने का मौका आता है। मेरे लिए सौभाग्य की बात है। जब आज़ाद भारत के इतिहास में किसी ने शिक्षा पे बात करने की कोशिश की है, स्कूल अस्पताल पे नौकरियों पे बात करने की कोशिश की है, उसको इसी तरह से सजाएं दी गई हैं। आज़ादी के पहले भी जब लोग आज़ादी के लिए मांग करते थे, उन्हें झूठे केसे में फंसा के इसी तरह से जेल भेजा जाता था। मेरे लिए भी एक गर्व की बात है। बहुत धन्यवाद।
Manish Sisodia, Chief Minister Manish Sisodia pushing once again the rhetoric that he is comparable to Mahatma Gandhi right now as he's making his way towards the CBI headquarters. Let's go over to my colleague Arunima once again. Arunima, earlier when we were talking to you, you were pointing out the virtual fortress that the outside of the CBI headquarters has been turned into in terms of security arrangements. You were pointing out that it perhaps won't be possible for these hundreds of workers to accompany Sisodia all the way to the CBI doorstep.
Will be a tough task. You know, this is the first line of barricade. The traffic you can see behind that is now eased out because, you know, there are government offices in this area and only those who are being checked and frisked are being allowed. But on the other side of the road, if Bansalji can just lift the camera a little bit, on the other side, right in front of the Nehru Stadium, there is a second line of barricade. So from the side of the NIA office, that's the side that the NIA office and the Nehru Stadium are. So there is one line of barricade there about 500 meters from the spot that I am standing. So first line of scrutiny is happening there. Only vehicles which have proper identification, either they are police vehicle, you can look at this. This is an empty vehicle, but it has a CBI headquarter tag there. But even that is being checked and only then being allowed by Delhi police personnel. And then they are being allowed to move here. So this is level 2 of scrutiny. The second line of scrutiny, look at there. I mean, every individual there being asked, where are you going? What is the purpose of your movement? And only then are they being allowed further in. There's a paramilitary deployment here also. This green bus has been placed ahead of the barricade. So any attempt to break the barricade by the Aam Aadmi Party workers, this bus is going to prevent that. Then there is line 3. There is level 3 of the barricading here. Look here, even the I-card of the gentleman being checked. He's been asked where he's going, why he's going. Bikers are being specifically checked. Very little bike movement on this road. So Delhi police and the paramilitary forces have done their bit to ensure that law and order is maintained. CBI on its part insists all the charges that have been made by the Aam Aadmi Party and by Mr. Sisodia himself that this is part of political vendetta in the run-up to the Gujarat elections. CBI officials I just spoke to reiterate that this is part of their professional investigation. They have registered an FIR. Mr. Sisodia is an accused named in the FIR. So that is the legal process to be taken, that he will be questioned and that professional investigation will happen today.
Okay. Arunma, thank you for that context. As you were speaking, we were still showing our audiences visuals actually of Rajghat and the procession outside Rajghat where my colleague Anshul is present on the ground. Let's go over right now to Anshul also to get more details. Anshul, you've been bringing us snippets of conversations that you've had with workers of the Aam Aadmi Party. But currently, walk us through how the Aam Aadmi Party is defending itself. We know broadly, obviously, they're saying that this is an attempt to distract from their success in Gujarat. But when it comes to the finer details, how have they responded to all of the CBI's allegations?
So yes, in their defense, Aam Aadmi Party has already given themselves a clean sheet, be it the Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal or Manish Sisodia himself. After the lockers were checked, if you remember, in front of the media cameras, Manish Sisodia eventually came out and said that he has gotten a clean sheet from the CBI. But yes, that is for the CBI and other investigating agencies to decide. So yes, the Aam Aadmi Party in their defense has already given themselves a clean sheet. They are saying that no, the CBI hasn't been able to find anything in the race. Approximately 500 raids that they have carried out across the country. They haven't been able to find anything. Even today, Manish Sisodia, while addressing the workers outside the Aam Aadmi Party office, he went ahead and said that the CBI cellules even went to his village to find out if he had bought some new piece of land with the money that he had acquired from this scam, and they weren't able to find that as well. So yes, Manish Sisodia has continuously been given himself a clean sheet, and that is the message that has been propagated to the workers on the ground as well. We spoke to the workers on camera where they said that Manish Sisodia is an Kattar Imandar worker of the Aam Aadmi Party, and there is no chance or no manner in which Manish Sisodia could actually go ahead and carry out something like a scam. But yes, still that is for the CBI and the courts to decide that if a scam has happened and if any punishment needs to be given to Manish Sisodia. Currently, outside Rajghat, the cavalcade and the protest march of Manish Sisodia is starting towards the CBI. Now remember, he has to reach the CBI at 11 a.m. It is going to take approximately half an hour for them to reach from Rajghat to the CBI headquarters in the national capital, and hence the cavalcade has started. If you could see, I'll ask my camera person to show you in the visuals so that the entire cavalcade has now started moving towards the CBI headquarters. The cars, the bikes, people on their foot have now started their march towards the CBI headquarters. Now senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party are sitting in vehicles who are now leading this entire protest march. If you could see in the visuals over here, the tirangas are on the bikes in the hands of each and every person. Posters of Aaj Ka Bhagat Singh can be seen very easily, can be spotted very easily on the roads in the hands of these Aam Aadmi Party workers. So yes, the message is very clear. The messaging to the workers is also very, very clear, absolutely clear, that whatever they speak, they should speak on the line of the upcoming Gujarat elections. However, there is still no point to prove that The Gujarat elections are still far, and yes, the entire controversy that has been happening since last November. If you remember, the initial controversy started from last November, and it has been continuing since then. And as Arunima was pointing out, that over the last 2 months, the CBI also didn't say much about this entire case. Now, when they have called the main accused in this case, or the accused number 1 in this entire case, to join the investigation, to present his side of the story, this kind of messaging is being given out that yes, the BJP is scared, and from somewhere the Gujarat elections are coming in. Each and every bite and each and every line that is being spelled out by the workers and the leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. This is the message that they want to propagate. It remains to be seen how successful can they be in propagating this message. However, on the other hand, since morning we have not seen many reactions coming in from the BJP. Absolutely clear. This entire controversy has nothing to do with the Gujarat elections, and this is just law taking its own course, and that is the reason why finally Manish Sisodia, the accused, has been called just to be up and present his side of this story. The people.
Anshul, stay with us. Through the day, we're going to have leaders from the Aam Aadmi Party, from the BJP, which is in opposition in the Delhi Assembly. We're going to have them calling in. We're going to ask them what their opinions are on all of the day's proceedings. We have Harish Khurana from the BJP who's with us this morning. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us here on CNN News 18. Sir, the Aam Aadmi Party, especially with their visit right now to Mahatma Gandhi's memorial in Rajghat, before Manish Sisodia appears at the CBI, we see the Aam Aadmi Party appearing and attempting to paint today's entire visit as one in which truth needs to prevail. They're saying they're being framed. So what's your response?
See, first of all, BJP is strongly condemned what Aam Aadmi Party is possessing themselves with the comparing with the Bhagat Singh. We have a strong objection. I mean, he was a martyr he has given his life for the country. But today, accused number 1, Manish Sisodia and Satinder Jain, who is jailed on the corruption charges, are comparing them with the Bhagat Singh. We have a strong objection on that, point number 1. Point number 2, I mean, they are trying to possess themselves as a martyr because they don't have the fact what the people are asking the questions. They don't have the answer of that, and they want to play a pechara politics. They want to do a vindictive politics. Where BJP is doing all this, and Gujarat elections are coming in. The same rhetoric was being repeated when Satinder Jain was arrested. Himachal Pradesh elections are there. That's the reason BJP is doing a vendetta politics. What has happened? Since last 4 months, Satinder Jain is in jail on the order of the court, not on the order of ED or CBI. The same scenario is happening over here right now. Gujarat elections is nothing with the inquiry of Manish Sisodia. And point number 2, they have still not decided that CBI will arrest him or not. He has been called just for an inquiry for some questions to be answered. Why they are possessing themselves that today he will be arrested? That's the I think they have something in their mind. It may be because they have done wrong, they have done corruption. That's the reason he might be get arrested. So that's the reason chor machaye shor. It's a Hindi phrase, chor machaye shor. We called it because kahin na kahin they themselves knows that one day, today or any other day, he is going to be arrested because he has done corruption in the liquor scam.
All right, sir, thank you for your response. We do have some more breaking news coming in that we need to move to right now. We have the CBI's official response to all of the claims that have been made by the Aam Aadmi Party over the last few days. They're reiterating very much that this is a professional investigation. I'll take a second right now to understand which reporter I can go to for more context on this story. But once again over here, the CBI insisting that this is a professional investigation. Remember, just a few minutes ago, we were speaking to my colleague Arunima, who does track the Ministry of Home Affairs and the CBI. And one of the things that she was telling us is that when she spoke to the CBI's officials, they had told her off the record that they did believe they have possibly all the evidence. Earlier, remember, one of the things that they had pointed out to Arunima was when she'd asked them whether or not they had a watertight case, she hadn't received a comment. Let's go over right now to my colleague Arunima here for more details. Arunima, we see the CBI reacting to all of these, the the accusations being made by the Aam Aadmi Party. The CBI is saying this is all part of a professional investigation. You were telling us earlier about some of the interactions you've had off the record with CBI's officials when it comes to the question of how strong this case is. Could you tell us more?
Yes, what CBI is insisting upon is that they have an FIR and there are named accused in that FIR. So in the interest of justice, it is pertinent for them to put to those named accused the evidence that they have gathered so far. And that is why it has taken them time to ask Mr. Sisodia to join investigation. If you recall the politics that has happened around this case, from the time the searches were carried out first, Aam Aadmi Party has alleged that this was vendetta ahead of Gujarat elections, that Mr. Sisodia is going to be arrested. And even he himself has said that, we wanted to bring Delhi-like schools in Gujarat. The BJP didn't want that, and that's why they're targeting me. What the CBI says is that all this politics should be left outside the doors of the CBI headquarters. They are doing a professional job. The investigating officers had some questions based on the evidence that has been gathered over the last 2 months. Multiple rounds of searches have been carried out, not just at Mr. Sisodia's residence, but at other residence and premises of accused as well. 2 people are already in custody of CBI, 1 in custody of the Enforcement Directorate. There are reasons for CBI to believe that Mr. Sisodia will be able to give answers to what these accused have told the CBI in the manner in which liquor licenses were granted, the manner in which the excise policy was agreed upon. And Mr. Sisodia will have to answer some of those, gaps in the liquor policy that have emerged during the course of the CBI's investigation. That is why he has been called here. Whether he'll be arrested, not arrested, as Aam Aadmi Party is claiming, at this stage the CBI's investigating officer is not making any comment. The procedure there is that you put the questions to the subject or the suspect. If in 1 day of questioning you are not satisfied, you can call that person again for day 2, day 3. And if at some stage you find that the answers are not good enough, as they call in their terminology, non-cooperation with the investigating agency. If at some stage the IO feels that is the stage that he has reached in questioning of the subject,
Remember, we are going to have to go into a break right now, but thank you for those details. For our audiences, a very quick break. We'll see you on the other side.
The basic plan of action that the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to make over here, they're trying to project them as the victim, and they are claiming that all this is being done, the entire thing is being done so that the mileage that the Aam Aadmi Party has been getting in the upcoming Gujarat elections, that could be stopped. And especially they are claiming that Manish Sisodia has been a really favourable leader, and that is the reason why the BJP wants to stop him from campaigning in Gujarat, and that is the reason why they are going to arrest him as early as today. But yes, all these are allegations, and it is very, very premature to comment that if Manish Sisodia would be arrested by the CBI, because this is the first day of the investigations that are happening today, the first day of interrogation that is going to happen today. So yes, in the next few hours, the Manish Sisodia along with senior Aam Aadmi Party leaders would march from here, we go from here to the CBI office, which is approximately 4 to 5 kilometers from here. And the plan of action that the Aam Aadmi Party has is that they want to make sure that they make the right noises, and they are going to carry out protests. And so that through these protests, no untoward situation arises over here. We are seeing this heavy deployment of paramilitary forces on the ground. So yes, in the next few minutes, it is very likely that Manish Sisodia would leave from his residence along with senior AAP leaders and would head to the CBI office. And also a bike rally could be carried out somewhere during the day as well. So yes, the Aam Aadmi Party trying to give out a message that all this is being done because of the upcoming Gujarat elections.
All this is being done because of the upcoming Gujarat elections. That's the message we're seeing the Aam Aadmi Party try to portray. Right now, some more breaking news regarding this exact story. All right, as you might recall, we've just told you that the CBI has called the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia at 11 a.m. in for questioning. Now, I believe a colleague of mine on the ground, a different colleague from the one we just spoke to, Siddhant, has details for us on what those possible questions could be. Let's go over to Siddhant right now to understand more. Siddhant, if you could explain to our audiences what your sources are telling you the questions Sisodia could be asked are. If you could also give our audiences some context on each of those questions, and also what the possible Aam Aadmi Party answers to those questions could be.
Well, look, it's been more than 2 months when Central Bureau of Investigation registered FIR against Manish Sisodia. and since then multiple raids have been conducted by CBI, and in fact ED has also conducted raids. 3 arrests have been made. Vijay Nair has been arrested by CBI. Abhishek Bomapallai has been arrested by CBI. Sameer Mahindru has been arrested by Enforcement Directorate. So there are several questions that CBI is going to ask Manish Sisodia today. Mainly this FIR is based on Lieutenant Governor's report. That particular report was prepared by Vigilance Department of
25 weeks of unparalleled domination. India's indisputable #1, CNN News 18, on your side.
Policy in the national capital. That particular report only talks about that how for 1 month tendered fee was waived off, which caused loss of 144 crore to the exchequer. That report also talks about that how 30 crore tendered fee for the airport L1 license was waived off. That report also highlights that how cabinet approval was not taken. The decision was done at a ministerial level, and then later cabinet and LG's office was informed. Now today Mr. Sisodia is going to be questioned regarding these irregularities, since he is the minister in charge of excise and finance department. If these decisions were taken, was cabinet or LG's office kept in loop? And why these decisions were taken at a ministerial level when it was in full violation of the statutory provisions of the Delhi government. So he will also be questioned about his links with Dinesh Arora, one of the other accused, Arjun Pandey, then Vijay Nair, and also Vijay Nair's role will be questioned. And Manish Sisodia will be asked to explain Vijay Nair's role in Aam Aadmi Party, as he's also a businessman. He runs an event management company. This is what CBI has to say, and he is also the part of Aam Aadmi Party communications wing.
Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia is today going to be arriving at the CBI in just a little while from now, and with that arrival, the Aam Aadmi Party's netas are in a huddle. Top leaders like Saurabh Bhardwaj, Durgesh Pathak and Gopal Rai are already at Sisodia's residence as we speak. Remember, Sisodia has been called by the CBI. Today, we'll be telling you more about why he's been called, but largely, this is over a more than 2-month investigation into the Delhi government's liquor excise policy, introduced and then rescinded by the government shortly after. There was controversy after it. Now, you might know that the ED led raids at both Sisodia's residence and a number of other locations. As of now, they're currently investigating more than 15 people in the same case. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party has said it's a misuse of central agencies. They've also obviously denied all allegations. Right now, my colleague Anshul is with us to bring us coverage on this story. Anshul, good morning. We're starting the day with you on this story. For our audiences, if you could give us context, because we are starting with you. First, give us 2 lines on what this case is, and then if you could tell us about this most recent development that I believe a number of top Aam Aadmi Party leaders have arrived at Sisodia's residence for a huddle.
So yes, if you talk about the background of this case entire case is about the new liquor policy that was implemented in the national capital from November last year, and it is being alleged in this entire FIR that has been filed by the CBI that there was quid pro quo and there was discrepancies in the distribution of licenses in this entire case, and that is the reason why we have seen central investigating agencies like the CBI and ED have come to the fray. Now remember, on the 17th of August was the time when the Delhi Lieutenant Governor, through his message through his secretary that he got, he announced that there should be investigation that should be led by the CBI, and on that request the CBI came out and registered the FIR in this entire matter. And yesterday it was at a
Hello and welcome, and thank you so much for staying with CNN News 18. I'm Griha Atul Siddiqui and I will be taking the broadcast forward from here on. We are continuing with our big story that we are tracking on the broadcast today, and which is to do with the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia on his way to the Central Bureau of Investigation office. We are playing out those visuals. He visited the Rajghat and he is now headed to the CBI offices. I have my colleagues Siddhant and Arunima who are joining me live from the CBI office. Arunima, any moment the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister is set to arrive.
Yeah, it looks like he's delayed a bit because on this road, the policemen on duty here, they've managed to relax just a bit. So even though we are counting down to 11 a.m. when he was supposed to be at CBI headquarters, if you see the bandobast here, there's also multiple layers of barricading that have been put out, and the police personnel deployed here are very clear that only Mr. Sisodia will be allowed to cross the first layer of the barricade. Everybody else who's accompanying him will be stopped right there, which is the Nehru Stadium area. That is the road from the National Investigation Agency which leads you to the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. That's where the first layer of barricading is. But this is the kind of bandobast here. This road outside CBI is completely barren. No traffic being allowed on that side. On the left side of the road, no traffic is being allowed. People are just walking back to work. But yes, everybody is expecting Mr. Sisodia to come here any moment. The IO of the CBI has lots to ask him.
Right, Arunima, in fact, stay on with us. We have got some breaking news that we are getting on the broadcast. Even as this excise policy row has exploded, and Kejriwal's deputy Manish Sisodia will be facing the CBI shortly, like my colleague Arunima was mentioning. This is the very first time that Manish Sisodia will be facing the central agency. Aam Aadmi Party is crying political vendetta. Meanwhile, CBI has gone on to clear the air and says that this is a professional investigation. I'm going back to my colleague Arunima for this. Arunima, CBI is making it amply clear that this is a professional investigation. What is the line of questioning that we know about?
Yes, there's been a lot of politics played on this case right from the word go. From the time the FIR was lodged and searches were carrying out, Aam Aadmi Party has been crying foul, saying that this is happening just because the Gujarat elections are around the corner. Bharatiya Janata Party is being challenged by Aam Aadmi Party as the principal opposition in that state. Gujarat is being showcased. I mean, the Delhi model of education is being showcased in Gujarat. Mr. Sisodia is the minister in charge of Delhi education. That is why he is being harassed. But what is it that CBI is saying? CBI insists that they have evidence to believe that money exchanged hands before the excise policy, of which Mr. Sisodia was the concerned minister, was approved. There are specific charges. People who as per CBI are close to Mr. Sisodia. One person is already in custody, Mr. Vijay Nair. There's another person, Arjun Pandey, who's believed to be a close aide of Mr. Sisodia. There are reports coming in that action is being taken against him as well. I'll confirm that in just a bit. But the charge is that these were aides of Mr. Sisodia who collected money from beneficiaries of the excise policy, people who were given the liquor license, and routed that money into the accounts of people associated with Mr. Sisodia. That's the charge. The CBI has in custody Mr. Nair and one businessman, Abhishek Bonnapalli from Hyderabad. Sameer Mahendru, another FIR named accused, in the custody of ED. Mr. Sisodia will be asked to explain all that CBI and ED has learned after questioning of these three and the papers that have been collected after the searches that were carried out.
All right, Arunima, stay on with us. Let me take this across to my colleague Siddhant also, who's joining us on the broadcast. Siddhant, Arunima was mentioning about this politicking that is being played out amply ever since this news was broken yesterday that Manish Sisodia is all set to be appearing before the Central Bureau of Investigation. Now, there are things that are planned in Gujarat as well. There is a month-long visit of Manish Sisodia that was slated to happen for Gujarat. Any word on that? What is going to happen? We do not yet know whether there is an arrest of Manish Sisodia. However, Aam Aadmi Party seems to have jumped the gun and already crying political vendetta and saying that CBI is going to be arresting him.
Well, look, Aam Aadmi Party always wanted this battle to look like a political battle because they call themselves Kattar Imandar and they have a reputation of anti-corruption crusader. So this particular investigation is surely denting that image and reputation of Aam Aadmi Party. And this is perhaps the reason that now to give out a message that this is a political battle, this is a political witch hunt. They are attacking BJP and in his his speech, Manish Sisodia named Gujarat more than 5 times. He also said that because BJP fears that Aam Aadmi Party will bring good schools to Gujarat, good free water, free electricity to Gujarat, so this is being done. So in a way, message is very clear that that Aam Aadmi Party is being attacked. Aam Aadmi Party is on radar because they question BJP, because they are the biggest challenger for BJP in the coming days. But the fact here remains that this entire investigation is based on Lieutenant Governor's report. CBI and Enforcement Directorate both have done thorough investigation in the matter. Close aides and associates, alleged close aides and associates of Manish Sisodia have been placed under the arrest by CBI and ED. Right now we are reporting from CBI headquarters, and this is the gate, Griha, right behind me. Manish Sisodia is expected to enter CBI office from this very gate where we are reporting from, and we have been told that CBI director has already reached the CBI headquarters, and there are several engagements of CBI today as Interpol General Assembly is taking place today in the national capital. So most of the CBI officials are going to be busy there also. Also, one thing very interesting I would like to highlight here is that आज मनीष सिसोदिया कह रहे हैं कि मैं कुर्बानी देने जा रहा हूं. किसी ना किसी को तो कुर्बानी देनी पड़ेगी देश के लिए. भगत सिंह से अपनी तुलना कर रहे हैं, महात्मा गांधी के शरणों में जा रहे हैं, उनकी मेमोरियल पे जा रहे हैं. बट इफ यू रिमेंबर, when the government was formed in Punjab, Mahatma Gandhi was not in the photos of Punjab government. So a question can be raised that this time around, when party is surrounded with corruption charges, 2 of the sitting ministers are already in jail. Manish Sisodia has been summoned. Aam Aadmi Party is taking names of revolutionaries, freedom fighters, and and try to give out a message that that this is a fight against BJP और किसी ना किसी को कुर्बानी देनी है. So they are sacrificing their leader Manish Sisodia, and this is what Manish Sisodia said in today's speech. So perception wise, they want perception to be with them, and this is perhaps the reason that it was a well thought out strategy to parade cadre behind Manish Sisodia when he's coming to CBI headquarters, despite 144 being in place outside Manish Sisodia's residence, and high security is here outside CBI. You can see 3 levels of barricades have been done by Delhi police, and in fact no vehicular movement is allowed on both the roads outside CBI headquarters. Only media personnel are present, and those who have their offices are being allowed here. But despite that, the cadre is being paraded behind Manish Sisodia. Bike rally is being taken out in the national capital. So all this is being done so that this fight should look as a political fight, as a political witch hunt. It should not reflect badly on Aam Aadmi Party's reputation of anti-corruption crusader.
Absolutely. And Siddhant, very rightly you're pointing out this political posturing. Of course, the Aam Aadmi Party is piggybacking on the freedom fighters, and hence the name of, let's say, Bhagat Singh was also being brought into the discourse. However, even his getting out of his residence where he went out with a tilak on his forehead like he is going for his own sort of struggle for the nation. That posturing was something that the Aam Aadmi Party is, going ahead and doing. Arunima was also mentioning, Siddhant, that he possibly slightly delayed in coming to the CBI headquarters. Do we know anything about that?
Well, Anshul is behind Manish Sisodia's convoy, and we have been told in some time from now he is going to reach CBI headquarters. So at this time around in the Lutyens zone, there is heavy traffic congestion, and as he is accompanied by party karyakartas, cadre, so obviously he is going to get delayed. He is also being welcomed and greeted by party cadre en route CBI headquarters. So there is surely going to be a delay, but
आज सुबह से ही ड्रामा और आम आदमी पार्टी की नौटंकी हम सभी टेलीविजन के माध्यम से देख पा रहे हैं. अगर सही मायने में बोला जाए तो कांग्रेस और आम आदमी पार्टी के पापों का जो नौटंकी है वो एक ही किस्म का है. आज जिस प्रकार के जो सीन देखने को मिल रहे हैं आम आदमी पार्टी का, जो ड्रामा देखने को मिल रहा है, आप याद करिए चंद दिनों पहले ठीक इसी प्रकार का दृश्य राहुल गांधी और कांग्रेस पार्टी का देखने को मिल रहा था. जब राहुल गांधी जी को भ्रष्टाचार के मामले में पूछताछ के लिए बुलाया गया था, तो ठीक इसी प्रकार कांग्रेस पार्टी नौटंकी करने में लगी थी. इसी प्रकार से कांग्रेस पार्टी प्रदर्शन करने में लगी हुई थी। और आज ये अतिशयोक्ति नहीं होगी अगर ये कहा जाए कि ये जश्न भ्रष्टाचार है। दिस इज ऑलमोस्ट सेलिब्रेटिंग करप्शन। पहले तो भ्रष्टाचार कीजिए, दलाली कमाइए, और उसके ऊपर जब आपसे पूछा जाए सवाल, जब आपसे सवाल पूछताछ किया जाए तो आप जश्न मनाइए। जिस प्रकार से मनीष सिसोदिया आज एक खुले कार में अपने समर्थकों के साथ नारे लगाते हुए, फूल माला डाले हुए निकले हैं, ऐसा लग रहा है मानो कोई किला फतेह करके वापस आ रहा है। इट सीम्स एज इफ द आम आदमी पार्टी हैज वन द वर्ल्ड कप ऑफ करप्शन। इसमें कोई दोमत नहीं है। अगर वर्ल्ड कप होगा करप्शन का तो आम आदमी पार्टी उसमें दुनिया की नंबर 1 पार्टी साबित होगी, सिद्ध होगी। तो यह कहना आज अतिशयोक्ति नहीं होगा कि जिस प्रकार की दृश्य आज भारत देख रही है, यह आम आदमी पार्टी का सेलिब्रेशन ऑफ करप्शन, जश्न भ्रष्टाचार है। सुबह से हमने देखा कि पहले माताजी ने टीका लगाया और उसके बाद ये सारा का सारा ड्रामा चल रहा है। यह पहली बार नहीं है कि मनीष सिसोदिया जी के साथ इस प्रकार का ड्रामा हम देख रहे हैं। आप याद करिए, नवाब मलिक जी, सत्येंद्र जैन जी, संजय राउत जी, ये सारे लोग इसी प्रकार से अपने घरों से निकले थे। आप याद करिए, जब नवाब मलिक के ऊपर भ्रष्टाचार का आरोप लगा था और जो अपने घर से वो निकले थे तो उनका भी टीका लगाया गया था। संजय राउत जी का भी इसी प्रकार से विदाई की गई थी। और तो और सत्येंद्र जैन जी को तो भारत रत्न मिलना चाहिए। इस प्रकार से अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने उनका स्वागत किया था। मगर इनमें से कोई भी व्यक्ति जेल से बाहर नहीं आ पाया। हर व्यक्ति आज जेल में है। नवाब मलिक भी जेल में है, सत्येंद्र जैन भी जेल में है और संजय राउत भी घोटाले में जेल में है। They went to the jail with a fanfare, but they could not prove that they were not guilty. आज तक उन्होंने ये एविडेंस प्रस्तुत नहीं किया है कि उन्होंने भ्रष्टाचार नहीं किया, और नतीजा है कि आज भी वो जेल में बंद हैं। कोई भी भ्रष्ट व्यक्ति कभी नहीं कहता है कि मैं भ्रष्ट हूं। जितने भी भ्रष्ट व्यक्ति हैं दुनिया के, वो कहते हैं मैं तो दूध का धुला हुआ हूं, मैं तो पाक साफ हूं जी। ये तो मेरे ऊपर राजनीतिक दबाव के कारण से झूठे आरोप लगाए गए। और आज आम आदमी पार्टी और मनीष सिसोदिया भी यही कर रहे हैं। मनीष जी, हमने आपसे 6 सवाल पूछे थे, तकनीकी सवाल, टेक्निकल क्वेश्चंस वर आस्क्ड आउट ऑफ यू। ये जो दारू घोटाला है, शराब घोटाला है, ये जो एक्साइज पे आपने करप्शन किया, उसमें हमने कुछ तकनीकी सवाल पूछा था। हमने ये सवाल पूछा, बार बार पूछा, कि आपने ब्लैक लिस्टेड कंपनी को कमीशन लेने के बाद ठेका दिया या नहीं दिया। आपने जवाब नहीं दिया। मनीष जी, हमने दूसरा सवाल पूछा कि कानूनन मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को रिटेल के सेक्टर में उतारना गैर कानूनी है। आपने मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को रिटेल की सेक्टर में उतारा नहीं उतारा। आपने उसका जवाब नहीं दिया। हमने सवाल पूछा कि मनीष जी, ये जो एक्साइज पॉलिसी आपकी बनी थी, ये जो दारू घोटाला आपने किया, क्या उससे दिल्ली के राजस्व को, स्टेट एक्सचेकर को नुकसान हुआ या नहीं हुआ? आपने उसका जवाब नहीं दिया। हमने स्पष्ट सवाल पूछा था, अगर आपकी ये एक्साइज पॉलिसी इतनी अच्छी थी तो क्या कारण रहा जो आपने एक्साइज पॉलिसी को आनन फानन में वापस लिया? अरविंद केजरीवाल और मनीष सिसोदिया ने इसका भी जवाब नहीं दिया। और हमने बड़ा स्पष्ट सवाल पूछा था कि क्या कारण था कि 144 करोड़ रुपया आपने इन शराब माफिया ठेकेदारों का माफ किया। किसके कहने पे माफ किया? अपने यारों का 144 करोड़ रुपया क्यों माफ किया, जबकि यह गैर कानूनी था, यह कैबिनेट से पारित नहीं हुआ था? इसका भी जवाब मनीष जी आपने नहीं दिया। जितने भी तकनीकी सवाल पूछे गए, किसी का जवाब नहीं दिया। मैं विश्व का, ब्रह्मांड का सबसे बढ़िया शिक्षा मंत्री, मैं गुजरात जाऊंगा तो ये हो जाएगा, फलाना हो जाएगा। अरे जो सवाल भ्रष्टाचार से जुड़े हुए हैं उसका जवाब दे दीजिए। यहां वहां की बात करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। आप जवाब इसलिए नहीं दे रहे हैं क्योंकि आप जानते हैं आपने और केजरीवाल जी ने मिलकर करोड़ों रुपए का घपला किया है, मोटा माल कमाया है, और इस विषय से आप भली भांति अवगत हैं। मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूं मनीष सिसोदिया जी कि आप वही पार्टी है ना जो पार्टी कभी अन्ना हजारे जी को लेकर आकर जिसने भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ आंदोलन छेड़ा था, जिसने ये कहा था वी विल फाइट अगेंस्ट करप्शन, इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन, और पूरे भारतवर्ष में आपने ये प्रतिज्ञा ली थी कि हम भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ लड़ेंगे। आप सोचिए कितनी बड़ी नौटंकी पार्टी है कि जो लोग तथाकथित रूप से भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ लड़ने आए थे, आज वही सबसे कट्टर बेईमान पार्टी बन के उभरी है पूरे भारतवर्ष की। आज वही लोग भ्रष्टाचार के केंद्र बिंदु में स्थापित है। और तो और ये केवल भारतीय जनता पार्टी नहीं कह रही, अन्ना हजारे जी, इनके प्रणेता जिनको लेकर यह पार्टी शुरू हुई थी, उन्होंने भी चिट्ठी लिख करके अरविंद केजरीवाल और मनीष सिसोदिया से कुछ सवालों के जवाब मांगे थे। आज तक अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने उन प्रश्नों का जवाब नहीं दिया है। स्टिंग ऑपरेशन हुआ था, यहां मीडिया के बंधु मौजूद हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने इसी मंच से 3-3, 4-4 स्टिंग ऑपरेशन जो पब्लिक डोमेन में थे उसे हमने जारी किया। स्टिंग ऑपरेशन में जो मोटा माल देने वाले लोग थे उन्होंने स्पष्ट रूप से वो तकनीक भी बताया जिस तकनीक के माध्यम से अरविंद केजरीवाल और मनीष सिसोदिया जी को करोड़ों करोड़ रुपए पहुंचाए गए थे दारू के ठेके के एवज में। जब ये सवाल आपने मनीष सिसोदिया जी से प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में पूछा तो बीच प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस को छोड़ करके मनीष सिसोदिया बिना जवाब दिए वो चले गए। क्यों चले गए मनीष जी? आपके पास अगर जवाब होता तो आप छोड़ देते, आप जवाब देते, मगर आपने स्टिंग ऑपरेशन का भी जवाब नहीं दिया। कारण क्योंकि आपको भी पता है करप्शन और भ्रष्टाचार तो आपने किया है। आश्चर्य का विषय है, सत्येंद्र जैन के लिए अरविंद केजरीवाल कह रहे थे इनको भारत रत्न मिलना चाहिए, और 2 दिन से अरविंद केजरीवाल कह रहे हैं कि मनीष सिसोदिया तो भगत सिंह है। मैं आज देश से अपील करता हूं, दारू के ठेकों से पैसा मारने वाला, दारू के ठेकों को बांटते समय भ्रष्टाचार करने वाला, उसकी कंपैरिजन आप महामहिम भगत सिंह से करेंगे, देश पे शहीद होने वाले भगत सिंह से करेंगे, और यह देश सुनता रहेगा। आप लोग विचार करिए, आप सोचिए किस व्यक्ति की कंपैरिजन किस व्यक्ति के साथ किया जा रहा है। भगत सिंह इज एन इंस्टीट्यूशन। भगत सिंह रिप्रेजेंट्स.
We're coming out of that BJP press conference by Sambit Patra and going across to the CBI headquarters. We are told that the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has just about arrived at the CBI offices. My colleague Siddhant is with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, is he there? What can you tell us?
Well, yes, Manish Sisodia has just gone inside CBI headquarters, and this is the main gate of CBI headquarters where you can see journalists and the cameras are trying to capture Manish Sisodia as he has managed to enter from the other gate where media was not present. So Manish Sisodia has gone inside. We have been told that in next 15 to 20 minutes, there's a possibility of probe getting started with Manish Sisodia. And this is his car, which is getting parked right now at CBI headquarters. And we can see movement outside the CBI headquarters. In fact, inside the CBI premises, because some of the Aam Aadmi Party workers have managed to gather outside CBI headquarters, including Somnath Bharti and many others, those who are related and are involved in this entire liquor policy scam case. So they are also present here. Manish Sisodia's vehicle is getting parked here at CBI headquarters. We are cutting to those shots and he has gone inside the CBI. In next 15 to 20 minutes, there's a possibility of Manish Sisodia interrogation will start, and he will be questioned about his role in the entire excise policy, as he was the minister in charge.
Right.
Why
Siddhant, let me take this across to Arunima as well. Arunima, like Siddhant was mentioning, so much of pomp and show and an entire cavalcade which was moving along with Manish Sisodia, and then he chooses to actually take the back gate to enter the CBI headquarters. Speaks volumes about what really is happening over here. However, what more can you tell us when it comes to the CBI sources now that he has arrived and he's already there before the CBI?
Well, he wasn't given much of a choice by the Delhi police. You saw the huge cavalcade that was following, but at the end, it was only this group of people, about 5 or 7 people, who ultimately accompanied them. They had one poster, they rid a bike, they were on a bike, and then they were stopped at barricade number 2. This is the point that I'm standing at, is barricade number 2. There is a third line of barricade and then the CBI headquarters. And there at the headquarters also, he was instructed specifically to move in without the glare of the media, denying him any opportunity to again speak to the press and make this into a political matter. Because from here on, this is a completely professional investigation, as CBI calls it. They do not want him to create a tamasha, so to say, outside the headquarters. The line of questioning, he's just being taken to the room where the investigating officers are sitting. All the top brass of the CBI is at the Pragati Maidan, where the Executive Council of the Interpol is meeting currently, and then there's a press conference scheduled. So the focus is there, but the CBI realizes that this has been made very high profile by the politics that the Aam Aadmi Party has done. They have specific questions from Mr. Sisodia about how this liquor policy was decided upon, whether there was change of money, because that's the charge. Crores of rupees exchanged hands between people who got the liquor license and people who are suspected or reportedly close to Mr. Sisodia. Why did this money exchange hand? Why was the excise policy ultimately withdrawn if the Aam Aadmi Party government thought everything was all right with that policy? Specific questions for him. Questioning begins even as we speak.
Right. Arunima, we just had a press conference that is still continuing of the BJP. Sambit Patra was presiding over that press conference, and these were the what he termed as technical questions that BJP is also asking the Aam Aadmi Party, and that's the charge. One thing that has been put to forth back in the discourse time and again is also, why were manufacturers given that, the duty of retail? And why this U-turn on the new liquor policy? We in fact have also live shots of Manish Sisodia, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, as he is in fact getting into the CBI headquarters for questioning. Arunima and Siddhant, my colleagues, are over there at the CBI headquarters as Manish Sisodia has just about entered. So we can see the visuals of the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister all set for appearing before the probe agency. Yes, Arunima.
Yes, so Mr. Manish Sisodia is making his way in. He will be questioned inside the CBI headquarters. He was taken in. I think if the idea was to speak to the waiting media outside the gate as well, that is something that CBI and the Delhi police wanted to avoid, and that is why all the workers have been stopped here itself. Just a handful of them were allowed till this point, and then from this barricade, Mr. Sisodia went right in. The questioning is beginning in the next couple of minutes, so to say. He will be given time to read through whatever papers the CBI has recovered, the questions that they have. There is an option of giving his answers in writing, signing on the answers that he gives, so that there is no allegation later that his answers were not recorded verbatim. So that is the procedure that will be followed. This could be a long drawn questioning. It could, it may not end on day one itself. That we'll have to wait and see, depending on how it develops, what the IO thinks of the answers being given by Mr. Sisodia. There is a possibility that this could be stretched for the next few hours or more, perhaps.
All right, Arunima, stay on with us. Let me take this across to my colleague Anshul as well. He was actually following that cavalcade of Manish Sisodia. Anshul, while this entire pomp and show continued before Manish Sisodia arrived at the CBI offices, and then he's had to just leave all that and entered with just a handful of people along with him to the CBI officers as he appears before the CBI. What really ensued before? Because we are told that there was slight delay. 20 minutes later is when he has arrived at the CBI headquarters.
So yes, the kind of procession that was initially gathered to take Manish Sisodia from his residence to Aam Aadmi Party office and from Aam Aadmi Party office to Rajghat and then finally from Rajghat to the CBI headquarters. Currently I am standing at the CBI headquarters, and there was a massive traffic jam across the entire route because of the kind of procession that was going ahead with Manish Sisodia. Hundreds of bikes, hundreds of vehicles were actually trailing him in reaching him to the CBI office. And once he has reached the CBI office, I like to show you the visuals over here. The workers of Aam Aadmi Party have now sat on a dharna right outside the CBI headquarters, where the police will now be making announcements for them from this location, or else they would be detained. Trying to make sure that not much crowd is allowed to gather over here, because this is a very area. On one hand there is CBI offices, on the other hand there is the CGO complex, the Central Government Offices complex, and just across the road NIA as well. So yes, very high severity area. Many national investigating agencies actually operate from here. The secretariats are here, and that is the reason why the police is making sure that not many people are allowed to gather over here. However, if you see in the visuals over here, many protesters, many supporters of the Aam Aadmi Party have already gathered over here with the flags, with the banners. Aaj ke Bhagat Singh, with photos of Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain. So yes, this is the kind of messaging that the Aam Aadmi Party is very adamant in giving. We saw the same kind of action happening when Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi were questioned by the ED as well, and the same kind of action we are seeing yet again but this time around by the Aam Aadmi Party. So yes, hundreds of workers gathered outside the CBI headquarters on either end of the road, be it this end of the road where there is the NIA, or the other end of the road. All the workers have gathered over here on either side of the road.
Possible to speak to any of the Aam Aadmi Party leaders and workers who of course are putting their weight behind the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister? There is ample sloganeering that we can hear as and when you talk to us also. Is there a possibility that we can get in a word?
I'll just try and get in a word from a few of workers who have gathered over here. Sir, कहाँ से आए हैं आप लोग?
तुगलकाबाद से।
अच्छा, अब मनीष सिसोदिया जी को आज बस इन्वेस्टिगेशन का हिस्सा बनने के लिए बुलाया गया है, तो ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है आपको कि आज उनको अरेस्ट किया जाएगा?
इनका क्या भरोसा? सत्येंद्र जैन को भी तो इसीलिए बुलाया था।
सत्येंद्र जैन को ईडी ने बुलाया था, वो भी काफी देर बाद बुलाया था, लेकिन क्यों लग रहा है
ईडी है या सीबीआई एक ही पार्ट है?
क्यों बुलाया गया? ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है कि आज ही क्यों बुलाया गया मनीष सिसोदिया जी को?
अब ये तो ईडी वाले सीबीआई वाले बताएंगे ना।
आप लोगों का क्या मैसेज है? आप लोग इतने भारी मात्रा में आए, आप लोग क्या मैसेज देना चाहते हैं?
देखिए, ये आजादी की दूसरी लड़ाई मान के चलो इसे आप। इनकी जो डिक्टेटरशिप चल रही है ना, ऐसे शासन नहीं चलता। ये आजादी की दूसरी लड़ाई है, जिसको आज मनीष सिसोदिया जी, सत्येंद्र जैन जी और आम आदमी पार्टी का एक वर्कर इसमें हिस्सा ले रहा है।
तो ये आजादी की दूसरी लड़ाई लड़ी जा रही है. दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ मैसेजिंग दैट इज बीइंग गिवन आउट बाय द वर्कर्स ऑफ द आम आदमी पार्टी. आई विल जस्ट गेट इन अ फ्यू मोर वॉइसेस फ्रॉम द प्रोटेस्ट साइड. सर, आप लोग कहाँ से आए हैं?
हम लोग रजौरी गार्डन विधानसभा से हैं.
आज मनीष सिसोदिया जी को बस क्वेश्चनिंग के लिए बुलाया गया है, इन्वेस्टिगेशन का हिस्सा बनने के लिए
सब गुजरात क्यों लग रहा है? ये सब गुजरात इलेक्शन को लेकर है. ये जो कुछ भी यहाँ हो रहा है गुजरात इलेक्शन को लेकर हो रहा है.
आज इतना आपने प्रोसेशन निकाला, सपोर्ट में उनके साथ इतने सारे कार्यकर्ता हैं, क्या मैसेज देना चाहते हैं आप लोगों को?
मैसेज, हम लोग एकजुट है, आज देश एकजुट है आम आदमी पार्टी को लेकर. और जो ये हो रहा है सब दुनिया देख रही है. दिल्ली वाले हैं, सभी के हाथ में रिमोट है यार. वो जो रिमोट का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, टीवी को देख रहे हैं, वो सब लोग इस चीज को समझ रहे हैं. ये भाजपा की बहुत गहरी जबरदस्त चाल है और आम आदमी पार्टी को डिमोरलाइज करने के लिए है. इलेक्शन का रिजल्ट गुजरात बता देगा. गुजरात के लोग सिर्फ बिजली पानी की व्यवस्था नहीं देख रहे, वो दिल्ली का प्रशासन देख रहे हैं. दिल्ली में जो कि बीजेपी अपना अंत की ओर है, एमसीडी इलेक्शन कुछ होने वाला है, उसको टाला जा रहा है. हार नजर आ रही है बीजेपी को. कब तक रोकेंगे उससे? ये तमाम लोग उन्हीं के साथ हैं.
So yes, this is the message, Griya, from top to bottom. If you speak to any of the MLAs and leaders and to the workers, the message is very clear that all this has been done keeping in mind the Gujarat elections and the kind of support that the Aam Aadmi Party has been able to garner in Gujarat over the past few months. And hence they want to arrest Manish Sisodia so that he could not go ahead and campaign for the upcoming elections in Gujarat.
Absolutely. Anshul, thank you so much. So, calling this a second freedom fight for Manish Sisodia and the Aam Aadmi Party, that posturing is very, very evident. Comparisons with Bhagat Singh also being drawn by the Aam Aadmi Party as Manish Sisodia is now being questioned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Let me take this across to my guests who are joining me on the broadcast. Desh Ratan Nigam and Mr. Ravi Srivastav, both of them political analysts who continue to be with us on the broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Desh Ratan Nigam, I'll take this across to you first. What do you actually make of this entire political posturing, the kind of cavalcade that Manish Sisodia's vehicle really was followed by? What do you have to say about this?
Griha, in fact, I noticed such kind of a contrast when, if you recall, the Prime Minister was investigated by CBI, or Amit Shah was investigated by CBI, they quietly went to the, the place of investigation and interrogation and came out, with flying colors. Finally, the Supreme Court acquitted them. However, look at this. People don't want even investigation to start. And the kind of utterances which are being made by Mr. Sisodia or the Aam Aadmi Party, these are, jittery and fearful statements. They are afraid of something. They don't want even the investigation to proceed. There are clear indications that they backtracked on policy. If it was so good, why it was backtracked, and various other questions which has been raised by BJP. The various issues are there, very serious issues. The only policy that I have seen where the sale is going up and the revenue is going down. So these are the issues, and these are very serious issues. And this brazen corruption has to stop. And they are trying to relate it to Gujarat. Gujarat is a place where there is a triangular contest. They are thinking to, somehow increase their vote share, even if they are able to encash on this. There's their fallacious, stand on the liquor policy and creating a kind of a cartel in liquor and then trying to benefit that particular cartel. It might, increase, I'm not saying will, may increase their vote share. But ultimately that is going to benefit BJP because that would become a triangular contest. So they are trying to make it about Gujarat, which it is not. But the fact remains, if you are a responsible politician and a minister in a government, you should go quietly, take part in investigation and believe in the due process of law in our judiciary. Nobody has moved any court against the process which has been started. The people inside the jail who are there, Aam Aadmi Party, whether it is the health minister in Punjab or in Delhi, nobody has moved the court for quashing of these proceedings, which itself shows there is something, wrong out there. Otherwise, they would have immediately gone to the court and asked for quashing of these proceedings.
Okay. Mr. Srivastav, do you agree? Do you agree that he could just quietly have gone to the CBI, answered the questions that were posted before him and come out clean if he really thinks that, they have not done anything wrong?
I don't know what does he mean quietly, because it is a pure political vendetta. Heaven would have not fallen has this inquiry been postponed by a couple of months. Not running away from the country.
I think there's a problem with...
July the FIR is filed, then August the raid is done, then September the other 500 people raided. Not even a rupee has been found. And this is what the investigation is. So where the quietly in this? It is a pure vendetta. They want to punish because Sisodia has a 1 month long planned program for Gujarat. He wants to showcase that Delhi schools and all Delhi education policy. And you don't want him to do that because you are rattled there completely. It is a BJP versus AAP fight in Gujarat. Everybody knows it. There is nothing triangular or rectangular or perpendicular. One must understand this is a two people fight and a straight fight. So they are rattled. And they don't want that these people should be visible on the ground. So they deliberately create this kind of a drama.
All right.
Then do it.
Mr. Nigam, would you like to take that? This question of the timing has always been raised. And of course, Gujarat elections is something that has been talked about. And of course, the fact that Mr. Sisodia was supposed to be in Gujarat for a month. We'd have to wait and watch whether that schedule goes on as planned or not. However, this thing is coming back again into the discourse that the timing is, of course, questionable.
Well, Griya, in fact, the judicial agencies or investigative agencies do not work on the political schedule of a particular party or their campaigning schedule. That kind of, thing should not be given. And if they had a problem, they should have moved the court saying this investigation be postponed because I am busy in campaigning. That they would not do because they know such kind of applications are thrown out. Now, secondly, Mr. Ravi Srivastava seems to know everything as to what has been discovered in the raid. Nobody will know what has been discovered the raid. Only the courts will know when the charge sheet is filed and then all the evidence is brought in. Before that, no evidence is put in public domain or else the investigation will compromise and the entire, purpose of investigation will be defeated. So let us make a responsible statement on national TV, especially on CNN, because even I, as a lawyer, let me tell you, will not be able to comment what kind of an evidence or money or trail or financial bungling, corruption, creation of a cartels, the 144 crore which has been, siphoned out, how it went. I will not be able to comment because it is only the agencies and finally the
But Mr.
court.
Nigam, those are still the charges. Those are still the charges, which is what is being investigated upon. One other thing that, of course, the Aam Aadmi Party is questioning is the 14-hour raids at the premises of Mr. Manish Sisodia, checking his bank lockers. Nothing really came out of that. Why suddenly, right before his Gujarat schedule, has he been summoned by the CBI? That's something that's constantly been spoken about. So I just want your response on that.
Griha, in fact, how can anybody make a statement that nothing came out of the raid? This will come before the court when the charge sheet is filed. And that is why subsequent investigation is taking place. If there was nothing, then I don't think Mr. Sisodia was needed to be investigated. They must have found some kind of a trail, some evidence. And therefore, the second stage of questioning has now started after the raids. And therefore, the investigative agencies do their homework and then come out. Unless and until Mr. Ravi Srivastava has some inside information from CBI, I don't know, which I am not privy to.
Okay. All right. Mr. Srivastava, I'll come to you. Meanwhile, we've got some breaking news that we are putting out for our viewers. Let's take a look at that first, as BJP has gone on to slam the Aam Aadmi Party Sarkar. In fact, a picture of Manish Sisodia has been tweeted out by the BJP. Let's put that out for our viewers. And the slamming of Manish Sisodia and Aam Aadmi Party continues. This is an image of Manish Sisodia where he is supposedly actually battling all the investigative agencies, CBI, ED, along with because of the liquor scam, and Aam Aadmi Party is having a field day. That's a picture that's been put out by Shehzad Poonawala of the BJP. He, in fact, is joining me on the broadcast. Shehzad, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Interesting depiction of what the BJP thinks about this entire scam.
Well, instead of answering the questions on the Sharab Ghotala, here you have a Aam Aadmi Party that is comparing the Sharab Mafia to those who have laid down their lives for the freedom. And also, they're trying to do a Jashne Bhrashtachar. This is Jashne Bhrashtachar, a celebration of corruption, instead of being accountable for corruption. And this is a permanent victimhood card that the Aam Aadmi Party pulls out every time they are asked questions on corruption. We have posed about 5 or 6 questions, specific questions on the Sharab Ghotala. Ever since this has come to the fore, they have not answered a single question. If they were so innocent, they could have quashed the FIR that has been filed against them by the CBI. Satyendra Jain, Tahir Hussain and others for whom they played the victimhood card still languish in jail. So clearly the courts are not vindictive. But instead of acting on the corrupt, Mr. Kejriwal is defending the corrupt. The Aam Aadmi is defending the corrupt because this corruption actually leads to the doorstep of Arvind Kejriwal. And therefore, in the name of Shiksha, sometimes in the name of Gujarat, New York Times and other things, Manish Sisodia is actually trying to protect Mr. Kejriwal, who is the ultimate beneficiary of all this corruption. If it was not the case, then Mr. Kejriwal would have taken action on Manish Sisodia. But clearly, Mr. Manish Sisodia and Mr. Kejriwal both have a stake in this corruption. And this is the picture that represents that stake in corruption.
Shehzad, Aam Aadmi Party is going ahead and calling Mr. Manish Sisodia, Mr. Satyendra Jain as the disciple of Bhagat Singh. आपने तो इनको gladiator बना दिया. I can see this picture. I can call this an interesting depiction, but battling the arrows of CBI and ED is how you're terming it, and Manish Sisodia is doing that for Arvind Kejriwal. Is that right?
Yes, see, Mr. Manish Sisodia and Aam Aadmi Party today have become the protectors of corruption. They have protected every act of corruption, whether it's Satyendra Jain, whether it is Vijay Nair, whether it is the classroom Ghotala, whether it is the bus Ghotala, and the main and the most important Sharab Ghotala. And therefore, from going from India against corruption to coming to protection of corruption, this is the transition from Swaraj to Sharab, from India against corruption to protection against corruption, and also from Anna Hazare to Lalu Prasad Yadav, who is the new mentor. This is the transition of the Aam Aadmi Party, and this is the protection of corruption that is being done by the Aam Aadmi Party.
All right, Shehzad, thank you so much. So this was a picture that was tweeted out by Arvind Kejriwal, where he speaks about the Delhi education model and how The Delhi Education Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Mr. Manish Sisodia, is battling the ED and CBI because he has his education policy in place. Shehzad Poonawalla of the BJP decided to tweak the picture a little, and these are the images that we are putting out. The one on the right is by the BJP, where they have put out a caricature of Arvind Kejriwal and how they are in fact being protected by Manish Sisodia because of their skewed liquor policy. That's the allegation by the BJP. And the first one, of course, was put out by Arvind Kejriwal, where he talks about Delhi's education model and for being a good education minister, one that has never before seen in the country and in the national capital, is why Manish Sisodia has been targeted by central probe agencies. That's the argument that the Aam Aadmi Party is making. We're slipping into a very short break with that, coming back with a lot more.
Forces and security forces were not deployed at that point also. But today we are seeing a heavy change in stance of the Delhi police. They are making sure that no one is allowed to get through these barricades. Although senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party have already started arriving over here since morning. The leaders in the likes of Saurabh Bhardwaj, Durgesh Pathak, and just a few minutes ago, Sanjay Singh also arrived over here. Some other leaders are also arriving over here. If you could see in the visuals over here, the basic plan of action that the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to make over here, they're trying to project them as the victim, and they are claiming that all this is being done, the entire thing is being done so that the mileage that the Aam Aadmi Party has been getting in the upcoming Gujarat elections, that could be stopped. And especially they are claiming that Manish Sisodia has been a really favourable leader, and that is the reason why the BJP wants to stop him from campaigning in Gujarat, and that is the reason why they are going to arrest him as early as today. But yes, all these are allegations, and it is very, very premature to comment that if Manish Sisodia would be arrested by the CBI, because this is the first day of the investigations that are happening today, the first day of interrogation that is going to happen today. So yes, in the next few hours, the Manish Sisodia along with senior Aam Aadmi Party leaders would march from here, would in fact we go from here to the CBI office, which is approximately 4 to 5 kilometers from here. And the plan of action that the Aam Aadmi Party has is that they want to make sure that they make the right noises, and they are going to carry out protests. And so that through these protests, no untoward situation arises over here. We are seeing this heavy deployment of paramilitary forces on the ground. So yes, in the next few minutes, it is very likely that Manish Sisodia would leave from his residence along with senior AAP leaders and would head to the CBI office. And also a bike rally could be carried out somewhere during the day as well. So yes, the Aam Aadmi Party trying to give out a message that all this is being done because of the upcoming Gujarat elections.
All this is being done because of the upcoming Gujarat elections. That's the message we're seeing the Aam Aadmi Party try to portray. Right now, some more breaking news regarding this exact story. All right, as you might recall, we've just told you that the CBI has called the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia at 11 a.m. in for questioning. Now, I believe a colleague of mine on the ground, a different colleague from the one we just spoke to, Siddhant, has details for us on what those possible questions could be. Let's go over to Siddhant right now to understand more. Siddhant, if you could explain to our audiences what your sources are telling you the questions Sisodia could be asked are. If you could also give our audiences some context on each of those questions, and also what the possible Aam Aadmi Party answers to those questions could be.
Well, look, it's been more than 2 months when Central Bureau of Investigation registered FIR against Manish Sisodia. And since then, multiple raids have been conducted by CBI, and in fact, ED has also conducted raids. 3 arrests have been made. Vijay Nair has been arrested by CBI. Abhishek Bomapallai has been arrested by CBI. Sameer Mahindru has been arrested by Enforcement Directorate. So there are several questions that CBI is going to ask Manish Sisodia today. Mainly, this FIR is based on Lieutenant Governor's report. That particular report was prepared by Vigilance Department of Delhi government, and Chief Secretary submitted it.
Welcome back. This is CNN News 18, and we are continuing with our coverage, which is to do with the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, who is currently at the CBI headquarters. My colleague Anshul, who's tracking all the developments from there, is joining me on the broadcast. Anshul, you were talking to the various supporters and the workers of the Aam Aadmi Party on how they are protesting. There was ample sloganeering that was going on at that moment. Does this continue, or have they been dispersed by the police?
So yes, the protest continues. If I can show you the visuals over here, the senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party have now sat on a dharna over here. The likes of Atishi Marlena, the likes of Sanjay Singh are all sitting on a dharna. Durgesh Pathak have all sat right outside the barricades of the police, from where they were not allowed to move out. So if you could see the visuals over here, they are all sitting over here. The main point is still being that they wouldn't move from here until and unless Manish Sisodia leaves from the headquarters of the CBI. And this is the point that they're trying to make out here. So I'll just try and get in a word from these leaders. Atishi ma'am, I'm live. Ma'am, you will be sitting over here, ma'am. What is the plan of action from here on?
We are going to be here till Manish Sisodia ji comes out of the CBI headquarters. Today, the man who is behind the education revolution of Delhi, the man who has given a future to lakhs of poor children of Delhi, is today going to be arrested by the CBI. Satyendra Jain, who gave the model of Mohalla Clinic, has been in jail for 4 months. Bharatiya Janata Party does not want that Delhi's education model and Delhi's health model should reach the people of Gujarat, and they realize how they have been treated for 27 years.
Ma'am, there was a press conference that happened just a few minutes ago by the BJP. They said that it seems like that you have won a World Cup and you are celebrating that World Cup. On the other hand, Manish Sisodia is the accused number 1 in this case, and he has been called for interrogation.
हम भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेताओं जैसे नहीं है जो मुंह छुपाकर सीबीआई में जाते हैं। हमने ना एक पैसे का भ्रष्टाचार कभी किया है, ना कभी करेंगे। हम एक कट्टर ईमानदार पार्टी है। हमें गर्व है मनीष सिसोदिया पे कि उन्होंने किस तरह लाखों बच्चों को अच्छा भविष्य दिया है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी खुद चोरी करती है, इसलिए मुंह छुपा के अंदर जाती है। हम किसी इंक्वायरी से नहीं डरते, हम जेल जाने से नहीं डरते।
So that was Atishi speaking to us, where, as you heard, she said that they are not scared of the reason why the entire procession that was led by the senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party had actually made sure that Manish Sisodia reaches the CBI headquarters in front of the media cameras, because they claim that they are the only Qatar Imandar party. If you could see in the visuals over here, the entire top brass of the Aam Aadmi Party is sitting out here. The workers of the Aam Aadmi Party are sitting out here, and they are making this point that they will not move from this location until and unless Manish Sisodia leaves from the CBI headquarters. So yes, this is the kind of messaging that they want to give out, and this is the kind of messaging that they have been successfully able to propel as of now, because if you see the entire worker base of the Aam Aadmi Party, in fact MLAs of the Aam Aadmi Party from Tilak Nagar, Jarnail Singh is also sitting over here. They all are sitting over here just to give this point across that they are not going to move back, and since they are honest, they are not scared of whatever the
we've gotten a word from one of the other Aam Aadmi Party leaders, Mr. Somnath Bharti. My colleague Siddhant has taken that interview. Let's take a look at that first.
We are outside CBI headquarters. Manish Sisodia has gone inside. Joining me now is Somnath Bharti. Sir, आपकी मनीष जी से बातें हुई जब वो ऊपर जा रहे थे, आपने कुछ बातचीत की, वो कैमरे पे कैप्चर हुई। क्या कुछ बात हुई आपकी मनीष सिसोदिया से, और आपने उनको क्या सलाह दी, क्योंकि आप वकील भी हैं, या उन्होंने आपको क्या कहा, उस बारे में थोड़ा बताइए।
देखिए, मैंने उनके चेहरे के हाव भाव देखे, मैंने वो कॉन्फिडेंस देखा, मैंने वो संतुष्टि देखी कि जो व्यक्ति के घर में आपने 14 घंटे की रेड की हो, जिसके घर से आपको धेला नहीं मिला हो, जिसके आपने तकिए फाड़े, जिसके आपने गद्दे फाड़े, जिसके आपने दीवारें खोद करके देखा, आपको कुछ नहीं मिला, आप उसके लॉकर में गए, आपको झुंझुना मिला, आपने 500 जगह सर्च की, आपको कुछ नहीं उसके खिलाफ मिला, उसको अगर आप सीबीआई में इस प्रकार से जलील करने के लिए उद्देश्य से बुलाए हो, वो जलील होने वाला नहीं है। आज ये घटना भाजपा के ताबूत में आखिरी कील साबित होगी। गुजरात के अंदर इनकी हार सुनिश्चित है। आज उन्होंने आखिरी कील ठोक दी अपने ताबूत में खुद ही।
Sir, there are a lot of findings in Lieutenant Governor's report. Now, the report says, I'll be going by Lieutenant Governor's report's finding. The report says that 144 crore exchequer losses were faced by the exchequer because tendered fee was waived off. 30 crore L1 license fee was also waived off. Then the decision was taken at ministerial level. Cabinet was not informed about it. LG Saab was not informed about it. These are some 4 to 5 major allegations. What do you have to say on these allegations?
Whom should I believe? Should I believe you or should I believe Manoj Tiwari ji who says a 1100 crore scam? Parvesh Verma ji said 10,000 crore scam. CBI report says 1 crore scam. That too between two businessmen there is a transfer of 1 crore. Whom should I believe? They are not at all certain about the fact because there is no scam at all. When there is no scam, these variations are bound to happen. And that is why today, in spite of no evidence being there against Manish Sisodia of any kind, they have summoned him. They have summoned him only to score politically. But people are already aware of what is happening in Delhi.
So, but even in fact, BJP spokesperson are saying if they are so confirmed, if they are so much, they have this information that CBI is going to arrest Manish Sisodia, why are they not applying for anticipatory bail? I'm
saying, ask them. Against Mr. Jain, our own minister, there is not an iota of evidence. Honorable Court of Gitanjali Goyal ji asked them twice. But give some evidence. Do you have some proof? You know what did they say? They said we will change the bench. Now imagine in my legal career, I have never ever seen central government doing bench hunting. So bench hunting being done by central government is a huge disrespect towards Constitution of India.
आज क्या लग रहा है मनीष सिसोदिया बाहर आएंगे सीबीआई से नहीं आएंगे?
भाई इनकी मत पे डिपेंड करता है। अगर इनको बहुत बुरी तरह हारना है तो ये अरेस्ट करेंगे।